In my previous life, I was a member of a rescue team and died in a sudden accident. After closing my eyes, I unexpectedly wandered into a mysterious and strange magical world. In this new life, I also awakened this old beast transformation ability and my own unique power, a second contract gem that can consume both physical and mental energy to condense into a sparkling stone. As long as the target voluntarily accepts their life soul, and consciousness will fall completely under the summoner's control. On the surface, this is originally a formidable power, but then it hit a fatal flaw. The male lead was secretly eyeing his contract gem when suddenly a shrill female voice echoed, "Zhang Ping, what are you doing?" Zhang Ping hurriedly clenched the spinning stone, turning around with a forced smile. "Nothing at all. Do you want some candy, to Jingzhao?" To Jingzhao glanced sideways at Zhang Ping with a clearly contemptuous expression. "Who wants to be controlled by you?" "That's right. The weakness of this ability is so blatant and bitter that the creature must clearly understand and willingly consent to sign the contract with me. Otherwise, even stuffing the gem into their mouth won't move them at all." He leaned back and forced a crooked smile. "Just kidding." His inner self sank into heavy disappointment, silently cursing the original owner for this useless ability that almost made him faint. Luckily, his strong spirit from the previous life saved his frail body. Seeing Zhang Ping's gloomy face, to Jingzhao suddenly grabbed his hair, pulled him up, and shouted to drown out the sorrow, "Don't give up so quickly in this vast world. There must be some creature willing to be controlled by you." Zhang Ping reluctantly said, "It's easy to say, but who else besides me would be willing?" Suddenly, a reckless idea flashed in his mind. "Wait, isn't it me, Zhang Ping, who sews the contract? Why didn't I think of this before?" Without hesitation, he immediately stuffed the stone into his mouth, causing to Jingzhao to widen her eyes in horror. "Hey, what are you doing?" Zhang Ping's body began to tremble deeply as a strange blue energy spread, then in a flash it vanished like smoke. Clearly, this method was useless. To Jingzhao panicked and rushed over, hugging Zhang Ping tightly and shouting, "Are you okay?" "No, I'm fine." Hearing Zhang Ping's reassurance, she relaxed and felt lighthearted. "Don't do that again, it's too scary." After a few hours, to Jingzhao stood up and told Zhang Ping, "It's not early anymore, we have to go back to the dormitory. I have to report to the patrol team tomorrow morning. You don't have to wait for me." Zhang Ping curiously asked, "Are you really planning to graduate?" She turned her face away firmly. "Yes, I've mastered all the knowledge in the books. Next, I can only rely on practical combat to improve myself." Zhang Ping silently nodded. Joining the regional escort patrol team has always been her burning desire. Now she finally had the chance. To Jingzhao turned back with a bright smile. "Don't be sad. When you get stronger, maybe we can work together." Hearing this, Zhang Ping blushed, scratched his head, and stammered, "Ha ha, all right then. I'll still go back to the countryside to farm." But inside, he felt bitter because this useless ability had pushed him into farming. Although he said so, it would be hard to meet her again later, even though she was the original owner's childhood friend separated from him. He still felt a bit reluctant and just wanted to hold her tightly once. As the male lead was lost in thought, he was completely unaware of a bluish figure sneaking behind him. It suddenly rushed forward, merged into Zhang Ping, and actively wrapped to Jingzhao tightly against his chest. Even Zhang Ping was stunned, unable to understand what the hell was happening. His mind was in chaos, screaming, "Why is my body moving on its own?" To Jingzhao's cheeks flushed like ripe tomatoes, her body trembling and dizzy. She pushed Zhang Ping away and stammered, "No, no, I'm leaving now." Oh, Zhang Ping hurriedly called after her as she ran away. "Be careful on the way." Hearing this, to Jingzhao stopped, looked back at Zhang Ping for a long time, then smiled happily. "You too. So adorable." But that wasn't the main point. The male lead had realized his strange ability, staring at his palm and murmuring, "Now that I think about it, my body unconsciously hugged her. Did I unknowingly order myself?" He walked while pondering, "Was it just a coincidence I need to check the level of control?" After thinking, he decided to test the ability immediately, first ordering himself to fly up. Then he dove headfirst into the ground, practiced punches, somersaults, and all sorts of moves. After the exhausting test, Zhang Ping collapsed, lying face down on the ground. No longer being able to float is unbearable now. I can almost force my body to perform any action as long as it is within human limits. Flying or transforming into another species is out of the question. Moreover, movements never practiced can also be performed from memory, so theoretically, as long as physical training meets standards, all martial arts are within reach. As long as I find a way to enhance physical energy, I can rise strongly, but there is still a question about rest that needs to be clarified. The next morning when Truong woke up, He was startled because he was sitting comfortably in the cafeteria. This is the cafeteria. Suddenly, his legs ached sharply. His legs hurt so much. That's right before sleeping, I ordered a morning run, and my body ran by itself while I was asleep. This made the protagonist excited and thrilled. Wonderful, the guess was right. The body can obey commands even unconsciously. No one pays attention to me, right? The cafeteria suddenly became lively when a female student entered. "Ah, classmate Lak Tivu is here. Ah, classmate Lak Tivu is the goddess of Lak Tivu. Good morning, classmate Lak Tivu." Truong thought silently. Lak Tivu is the school beauty, and she also wakes up this early. What's that sound? Truong suddenly heard a strange noise, then the space was stained red with blood. Lak Tivu transformed into a terrifying monster. Damn it, what the hell is this? Didn't anyone else see it? This was completely not Lak Tivu. What he saw was a mutated beast controlling Lak Tivu. It let out a chilling scream. He looked unwell. Classmate Truong saw Truong dazed. Lak Tivu called out to him. "Classmate Truong, you look unwell. Are you sick?" Without looking at the horrifying thing behind, Truong ordered himself to stay calm, calmed down, then stammered, "No, I'm fine. Last night I had a nightmare, so I didn't sleep well. Right, I still have class soon. I have to go." As he spoke, Truong quickly dragged himself away. His action made the monster suspicious. Is the taste of fear just an illusion? On the way to class, Truong kept wondering why there was a mutated beast in the school and no one knew about it. Could it be that I'm hallucinating? I must quickly report to the teachers? He just pushed open the door and was horrified to see a mutated beast gnawing on a girl's corpse. Terrified, Truong dashed out of the school and plopped down on a roadside chair, holding his head and screaming, something's wrong, this is not right. Could this be hell on earth, damn it?" At this moment, the protagonist's inner turmoil was extreme. He grasped the contract gem and muttered, "I just remembered after eating this I can see mutated beasts. Anyway, I have to restore myself." Saying that, he swallowed the gem again. His body vibrated, emitting green energy, but this time accompanied by something strange. What's going on? A system panel appeared at the protagonist's feet, performing an appraisal. Appraisal successful. Playback of the image, a mutated beast clinging to a man's head, strangling him to death. Truong exclaimed in surprise, "I've awakened appraisal magic." Then he appraised himself to verify. He was appraising the attribute panel of owner Truong, level 1000000, beast transformation. Truong's race human, maturity value 3 stars. Stamina 11. Strength 12, agility 11. The average value for a normal person is 10. Infinite spiritual power. Talent contract gem level 1. By consuming stamina and spiritual power. To create items. Once the target voluntarily consumes the gem, their life, soul, and consciousness will be summoned and controlled by the summoner. Effect level 1 activated. Truong thought silently. The contract gem also has a level and effect activated. What does this mean, absolute command? You have absolute lordship over the summoned beast. Your command to the summoned beast is absolute and cannot be resisted. Absolute obedience. You must absolutely obey the summoner's command. One command from the summoner. You will loyally execute it. The primary appraisal magic can see specific values of oneself and can appraise targets. The success rate depends on the distance and strength difference between the two sides. Truong exclaimed in amazement. This new talent came in a strange way. Could it be related to me eating the gem again? With heavy steps back to class, he was still lost in thought about the power just awakened. 4. Let's analyze the current situation clearly. First, he himself has become a summoned beast, the golden contract of his own. Second, he only obeys commands from the contract, which is himself, so his body and spirit are completely immune to external forces. Third, thanks to this, all illusions are nullified before him, helping him easily recognize the true form of mutated beasts. Those mutated beasts are all high-level celestial beasts, while I am only level 1, no different from an ant facing an elephant. 6 failed appraisals, successful appraisal. Mutated beasts of the celestial beast species with unclear maturity value, level 26, innate talent perception distortion, capable of distorting the target creature's perception, forcing them to be blind to all 5th abnormalities. Thanks to the perception distortion skill, the celestial beast can swallow a person in the middle of a crowd without others noticing. The scene looks just like 2 students chatting casually, so no one notices the abnormality. Moreover, this is a mental manipulation ability. I suddenly remembered Tin Jiao also possesses a power of the mental system. Surely she will have a way to deal with it. After class, Truong Bin hurried to find Tin Jiao to inquire about the situation. On the way, he glimpsed quite a few mutated beasts. He shuddered secretly, not expecting the school grounds to be full of them. How many monsters are there really at this moment with his still weak strength? He was not strong enough to confront the celestial beasts, so he gritted his teeth and pretended to be indifferent, walking straight to the patrol team headquarters where Tin Jiao was starting her new journey. He was welcomed warmly by a pretty receptionist with a warm tone. "Hello, how can I assist you?" Truong Bin suddenly tensed up, stammering, "I'm here to find Tin Jiao. She has to register today." She smiled gently. "All right, please wait a moment." Unexpectedly, the sweet girl like honey was a mutated beast, making Truong Bin stunned for a moment. His face twisted as he sat down silently questioning himself. Even the patrol team was infiltrated by celestial beasts. Could it be that the high-level awakened are also blind to their illusions, Truong Bin? Why did you come here? Hearing Tin Jiao's voice, he quickly stood up, scratching his head awkwardly. "Just worried you might not adapt well, so I came to check." She smiled excitedly. "No problem, let me introduce my teammates. Everyone cares about me a lot." Suddenly, Truong Bin's eyes darkened. It seemed he had touched something terrifying, but he still tried to keep a calm tone. "Is that so? Then that's good." Tin Jiao clenched her fists tightly, her voice full of determination. "From now on, I will try to become stronger in the future, go out to eliminate mutated beasts and avenge my parents." Truong Bin clasped his hands together, forcing himself to stay calm, then bowed slightly. Tin Jiao smiled brightly and continued, "That's right. We are currently short of people. Do you want me to introduce you to the patrol team?" He shook his head vigorously. "No, my ability won't help. I'm still more suited to doing mundane work." She showed a hint of regret. "That's a pity." Truong Bin hurriedly slipped away, uttering words. Seeing he adapted well, she said, "I won't bother you anymore." Turning her back, the smile on his face faded, replaced by clenched teeth, silently growling goodbye to Tin Jiao. It turned out she had also fallen into the claws of the celestial beasts. If she were an ordinary person, she would have collapsed at the sight. Even Truong Bin, despite ordering himself to be calm, still couldn't help but clench his fists until they turned purple, struggling to crawl out of the headquarters, muttering in his head, "What was that about? Isn't the patrol team the strongest force in Minchao City? Why is it so devastated?" Tin Jiao just arrived today, yet he didn't even dare to look up at anyone because everywhere was filled with those monsters. It seemed the celestial beasts hadn't just invaded the school. They had swallowed the entire city. All residents of Minchao City were just livestock being herded by them. Truong Bin dragged his steps, pretending to be casual while carefully considering. He had used appraisal magic to probe for clues. First, most celestial beasts were mid to high level, yet the elite awakened patrol team was powerless against them. Note level 1 to 9 is primary, 10 to 19 is intermediate, 20 to 29 is advanced. 30 to 39 is peak level. The one that killed Lak Ti Vu was extremely fierce. His intuition told him that if he used appraisal magic on it, his position would be exposed. So it must be peak level, even royal among them. Note above level 40 is royal. Other celestial beasts can surpass levels to defeat awakened ones, surely due to its influence. Thirdly, unlike ordinary mutated beasts, celestial beasts possess sharp intelligence and skillful disguise. Outwardly friendly to humans, but it's just a thin facade. Fourth, their primary targets are usually the strong or high-status individuals. The rest are just food reserves. Direct confrontation with celestial beasts is like rushing to death, but he couldn't just stand by watching civilians fall. If he could become stronger... 1 week passed quietly. At 3:54 a.m., Truong Bin woke up and began training as usual. Recently, he had been waking up later, seemingly with more stamina. The body demands less sleep. These past few days, you have persistently trained your physique and have leveled up once beyond weightlifting. Every day, you also tried condensing the gem and then swallowing it, hoping to activate abilities or talents like the first 2 times, but since awakening the gem appraisal skill, all gems produced have been grayish-white, swallowed without any reaction. Today, it flickered in color again. The previous 2 times were bright blue. This time, it turned dark purple. Zhang Ping swallowed it with a gulp, silently hoping, but this color wasn't promising. He just hoped it would be effective this time. His body quickly trembled as a familiar sensation surged in. Zhang Ping hurriedly opened the attribute panel to check. Summoned Beast Zhang Ping, owner Zhang Ping. Race human level 2, maturity value 4 stars. Spirit and stamina, 13. Infinite spirit power, strength, 13, agility, 15, talent gem, contract level 2, supplementary effect level 2, newly awakened talent activated, absolute command. Absolute obedience, primary gem, appraisal, skill level 4, primary night walker skill, night vision, greatly enhanced presence at night, greatly reduced action, speed, increased weight, reduced. Completely hidden in darkness, seeing the new talent flicker, Zhang Ping felt joy. Indeed, the new talent had awakened. From now on, he could investigate outside at night. Moreover, the gem contract had also been upgraded, probably related to his level. Could it be that every time he levels up, a new talent awakens? If so, he would be invincible. No time to delay. It's time to train immediately. Conveniently, he tested the effect of the new talent, then activated Nightwalker and dashed outside to the stadium running while pondering. His vision seemed sharper than daytime. Suddenly, he noticed a strange ring glimmering on the grass and bent down to pick it up, examining the ring. Curiosity surged. Zhang Ping used gem appraisal and only succeeded on the fourth attempt. Assassination ring, when worn, all living creatures unconsciously ignore the wearer. Awakening level high, can be immune. At this moment, the image of the ring's owner began to replay. Before him appeared the zombie Wu Tian Thuong Ho and another person. He was the owner of the ring. But in his eyes, Wu Tian Thuong Ho was clearly human, an enemy of Wu Tian Thuong Ho. The man who rushed forward was killed instantly by Tian Thuong Ho's cat-like attack. Zhang Ping shuddered inwardly, unable to believe it. Wu Tian Thuong Ho was an orphan with that personality. He couldn't have enemies. Only one possibility besides him, someone else in Minchao City, was secretly resisting these monsters. Thinking for 8 seconds at the moment the male lead was searching for clues, suddenly a voice replaced Tian Thuong Ho's echoing and cutting through the silence. "Who's there?" Zhang Ping's heart tightened. He cursed silently. In that critical situation, he quickly hid deep in the dark. Tian Thuong Ho rushed over immediately, growling angrily. The ring had disappeared. Someone definitely came here. It sniffed with its keen nose, scanning every corner, then thought to itself it didn't detect any breath traces. How could it be hidden from me? It must be an awakened, at least mid-level. It turned abruptly and hurriedly retreated, muttering it must report immediately to His Highness the Prince. Hiding behind a severely crooked wall, Zhang Ping breathed a sigh of relief, thinking they deliberately left the ring here. Returning it now would only raise suspicion, so he decided to keep it tightly. Dawn broke at 0536. Zhang Ping held the ring, admiring it endlessly. He muttered that just now, thanks to the darkness covering Nightwalker and Assassination Ring, perfectly concealed all traces. The power clearly did not stop at himself, but also relied on those protective items. Outside the dormitory, the footsteps of Tian Thuong Ho thundered closer, while from the male lead's direction a strange voice suddenly sounded. It made him panic intensely. "Who Zhang Ping, who is it? Run away, who's talking?" At that moment, the soul of To Tin Jiao silently appeared, tightly wrapping his arms around Zhang Ping, whispering urgently, "They have arrived." A squad of fairly high-level Tian Thuong Ho loomed at his door, rushing in immediately to see Zhang Ping still curled up, sound asleep on the bed. One sharp-clawed one sneered, "Is he the one die?" As soon as he finished speaking, he swung a fatal strike to end Zhang Ping. Just as his claw was about to touch Zhang Ping's head, he suddenly hesitated, thinking he felt no disturbance or emotion at all. "This useless guy, if he slips through, he will struggle desperately. Besides, I can't sense the aura of the ring. He is the one wearing the mask of Wu Tian Thuong Ho, and also the prince of this Tian Thuong Ho group." His subordinate immediately said, "Your Highness the Prince. Why not kill him? This person runs every morning, but today he didn't go. There must be something strange." Yes, he immediately turned back and said it wasn't him, he was just a useless person with no value. His aura was extremely strong as he gritted his teeth and said not to waste food carelessly. All the subordinates immediately knelt down and shouted, "Yes!" Just like that, the male lead escaped a fate thanks to the food-saving habit of that prince. A few hours later, Zhang Ping finally opened his eyes and woke up, his face still showing fear. He sat up, took out the ring, and said it was too dangerous, it scared him to death. "I forgot that I run every morning. Luckily, I just ordered my body to force sleep deeply without revealing any weakness. Now I remember, I think I just heard the voice of Tu Tin Jiao. So it was a hallucination. Why am I so sentimental? I need to quickly become strong to avenge her. In short, to avoid suspicion from Tian Thuong Ho first, pretend to live normally." That noon at the school's cafeteria, everyone started talking. "Hey, have you heard? Today near our school, the Tuan Tra team discovered a body with a slash across the back. But more than that, the body was the infamous Black Tzu Tin, the #1 assassin of Minchao City, the former city lord who was seriously wounded by him. Finally, the old wound flared up and he died young." Zhang Ping listened to the girl's story and thought silently, a slash across the back, could it be referring to the person in white? Even the #1 assassin was easily killed. The strength of Lac Ti Vu is indeed immeasurable. This time, publicly displaying the corpse is meant to warn the forces opposing Tian Thuong Ho. After that, they will definitely increase vigilance. I must quickly find some equipment to defend myself. After class, I will stroll around the blacksmith shops. Zhang Ping went out to look for blacksmith shops, but the shop owners were all from Tian Thuong Ho. Zhang Ping thought silently that the blacksmith shops in the city seemed to be controlled by Tian Thuong Ho. Identification failed. Identification failed. Identification succeeded. Suddenly, the system announced identification success 100 times. Primary identification skill upgraded to intermediate identification skill level 6. Zhang Ping was amazed and thought after upgrading, he could identify the growth value of the opponent. Mutated beast, Tian Thuong Ho species, mutated tiger growth value, 1-star intermediate mutated beast, level 15. Talent distortion can alter the perception of the target creature and force the target not to notice abnormalities. Zhang Ping looked into the shop. He invited the kid in, come take a look. Zhang Ping refused and left without thanking, thinking the urgent matter was still to find a shop not controlled, then went to the Chi Han blacksmith shop. Zhang Ping suddenly heard someone say, I have top-quality goods here. Old man, look at these patterns, look at the shine. I see you are not easy either. If you want to buy, I will try to give you the lowest price. The old man asked back, Huh? What did you say? You said your daughter is waiting for you to eat. As he spoke, he blew smoke into his face, making him angry and shout, Old stinky man, are you deaf? At that moment, Zhang Ping just entered the shop, picked up his sword, and identified it. The man showed discomfort and shouted, Which dog kid dares to steal my stuff? The identification result, one-handed sword, beautiful normal quality, beautiful weapon but useless, previously broken and poorly repaired. Seeing him trying to snatch the sword back, Zhang Ping panicked and shouted, Wait, this sword will break! Before he finished, the sword broke in half, making the man very angry. He immediately released his power and shouted loudly, Damn it, how dare you ruin my good deal? Do you know who I am? The electric force in him burst out terrifyingly, even tearing his shirt. He shouted, Your father is a direct disciple of Master Ma of the Martial Arts Hall. Look at this. After finishing, he used lightning speed to fly around Zhang Ping fast enough to create countless illusions that looked like his clones. Any hit from them would cause damage first with terrifying power and speed like this. We only heard a crisp slap sound. Zhang Ping, using only one hand, made him drop his weapon right there. Then said, Is that all? He held his face trembling and said, Young people don't talk about martial virtue. Identification attribute board name Lu Bao Kwok, race human growth value, 1-star primary level. Awakening the first level rank of a peerless, earth-shaking genius talent, any technique used will have a powerful effect, but only the user can see it. Using it too much will cause the user to become immersed in their own world, unable to escape. He held his face trembling and said, Watch out for me when you go outside later. Zhang Ping sighed inwardly, thinking this guy came just to make people laugh. Taking advantage of Zhang Ping's distraction, he immediately charged up for a sneak attack. A good opportunity for a surprise strike. Instantly, sounds of punching, massaging, and cupping therapy echoed in the shop. Extremely vivid. After punching him until exhausted, Zhang Ping said, You still want to sneak attack me? Who exactly is the one who doesn't talk about martial virtue here? Suddenly, a female voice rang out. I just went outside for a short while and the shop has already become so lively. Did you go by yourself or should I accompany you for a bit? She said, while cracking her knuckles, continuously causing him to panic, immediately bend over and run away, shouting, Sorry, sorry. Zhang Ping thought to himself, Let's go check out the other blacksmith shops. Before he could leave, the girl blocked his way, pressed him against the wall, and said, Stay here, we need to talk. Judging by Zhang Ping's terrified expression. Could this girl be Tian Changhu? Suddenly blocked by a pretty young lady, Zhang Ping was stunned and speechless, sweat pouring down as he stammered. What are we going to talk about? She leaned close to the male lead's body, whispering gently, I'm just a weak single girl busy with life every day and taking care of my uncle. I've become confused because my daughter disappeared. I see you're healthy and have good character. How about it? Zhang Ping's cheeks flushed red as he shyly replied, and she then tightly squeezed Zhang Ping into her ample bosom, then pulled him deeper into the shop, her voice cheerful and lively. Stay here and be a blacksmith, take care of Uncle Lu Tiep Feng, and help manage the shop. Of course, you'll be provided food, lodging, and a salary. Held tightly against that softness, Zhang Ping felt a flutter of pleasure but kept a clear head, considering that if he learned blacksmithing, he could save a lot of silver later to buy equipment. Moreover, this shop seemed not to have fallen into Tian Changhu's hands yet, so the male lead's spirit immediately surged with excitement. He shouted loudly with soaring enthusiasm, All right, I want to become the king of blacksmiths. The young lady, witnessing this scene, lightly patted Zhang Ping's back, laughing brightly. Ha ha, good kid, you're truly the one I chose. Zhang Ping groaned in pain, inwardly telling himself he must survive the loving hands of this girl. Several days passed inside the blacksmith shop. The sounds of forging continuously echoed with seductive tones, making people blush. Harder, harder, come on, brother Zhang Ping. Zhang Ping was panting, drenched in sweat, working while asking Sister Tu Kuang, "Is it really okay for us to do this?" She replied calmly, "It's okay, no one will see. Very good doesn't feel bad at all. What are you guys thinking? Take your hand away and keep watching." At that time, Sister Tu Kuang was patiently guiding Zhang Ping in forging skills. She explained enthusiastically, "This is our exclusive technique. The forging technique is like kneading dough massaging to blend the ingredients completely." Then she turned around. "Wait here a moment, I'll go into the warehouse to get the mold. The fuel is in the barrel next to it. Absolutely don't let the fire go out." Yes, after Sister Tu Kuang left, Zhang Ping fell into extreme confusion. "Oh no, the fire is about to die out!" He quickly glanced at two nearby barrels, wondering silently, are these both fuels? Actually, one barrel contained red sulfur. The other was coal, but Zhang Ping didn't care and poured both into the furnace, muttering, "Don't care anymore, just put it all in." Finally, he threw them into the furnace and continued to stoke the hot fire. Just as the materials touched the bottom, a sudden violent reaction exploded from deep inside. The fire erupted fiercely. The heat soared thousands of degrees, scorching the air. Zhang Ping was stunned, his body stiffened in an instant, inwardly shouting, "Am I doomed?" Suddenly, right in his chest appeared a bizarre head that actively swallowed all the raging fire. The swirling heat scorched Zhang Ping painfully. He clutched his chest, screaming miserably, "Ah!" In a brief moment, the flames were completely sucked away. The space around the furnace was left with only faint, drifting smoke. Zhang Ping coughed violently, stammering, "The fire's out already!" But his heart was now surging with fierce waves of heat. Zhang Ping continued clutching his chest, howling, "Too hot, dare to succeed." Besides the basic stats, Zhang Ping's growth value had jumped by 1 star. The male lead silently pondered the increased growth value combined with the current situation. If I'm not mistaken, the level 3 gem contract consumes stamina and spirit to create the target item once voluntarily consuming the life gem. Their soul consciousness will be controlled by the summoner primary level phantom plus 1 star. Gaining night vision significantly reduces presence at night, greatly increases movement speed, significantly reduces weight, and grants complete invisibility when in darkness. 6. Zhang Bing silently analyzes newly awakened talents plus maturity value to upgrade old talents. For example, appraisal consumes maturity value. Intermediate appraisal minus 1 star. Can see specific personal values and appraise targets. Appraisal success rate relates to the power gap between the two sides, Zhang Bing murmurs. As long as new talents keep awakening, maturity value is infinite. Newly awakened talent is primary fire phantom plus 1 star. Can convert fire by consuming it into fire elemental energy stored in the body and can release energy anytime, until the current fire elemental energy is depleted. Fire elemental energy is 100 Zhang Bing wonders, but remembers others' maturity values all have limits. Could it be that only I can awaken so many talents? Just now the primary fire phantom absorbed the flames? Honestly, I leveled up to 3 this morning and consumed a level 3 gem, so why did the gem's effect only activate in the afternoon? Could there be some condition? Amidst deep thoughts, Sister Tu Kuang suddenly stepped in, voice full of worry. "What's going on? What happened at home?" Immediately she panicked, tightly grabbed Zhang Bing's hand, shouting loudly, "Wait, you didn't throw the red chain lizard into the furnace, did you? That will explode." "It's all my fault for forgetting to tell you," Zhang Bing stammered. "Sister Kuang, the repair costs at home." Tu Kuang hurriedly interrupted. "What are you talking about? I'm just glad you're okay." "But how did you put out the fire?" "The fire caused by the red chain lizard is hard to extinguish." Zhang Bing stammered, unable to speak. That would take a long explanation. She glanced at the pile of materials and exclaimed in surprise, "Wow, the materials are mixed so well. This requires extremely high temperatures to achieve such effects. Kid, you really have talent. The school really misjudged you. Your current performance is more than enough to enter the 3 major organizations," she said while pouring materials into the mold. Zhang Bing curiously asked Sister Kuang, "Everyone always calls the patrol team and investigation team the 3 major organizations, so what is the 3rd organization?" The girl dipped the dagger into water and continued. "Chengmingju really exists. The 3rd organization does exist, but no one knows what it's called or what it does. By the way, Zhang Bing, little brother, you wanted to buy equipment before, right? If you don't mind, take this." Taking the dagger, Zhang Bing immediately appraised it and exclaimed, "Such a good dagger must be expensive, right?" The dagger's name is Beauty's Tear, excellent quality, made from cold steel. It can easily injure mutated beasts of mid-level 10 to 19 and below. Tu Kuang nodded. According to market price, it's probably around 100,000. Hearing that huge number, Zhang Bing was shocked to the core. Standing frozen 100,000 equals 3 years' salary. He shouted loudly, "Oh my God, is this something someone with a monthly salary like me can get?" Sister Thu Kwang laughed warmly. "Ha ha, consider it a reward for your progress. I have duties to attend to. I must go now." "But you're not going back to school. Are you really okay?" Zhang Bing replied, "Don't worry. I already completed the graduation procedures. Remember to take care of the boss. He's a bit senile. Don't let him open the shop to sell things." Then she turned and left. Zhang Bing worried silently. Although the shop's closure avoided the heavenly normal tiger's attention, the recent commotion was so loud it might attract them. At dusk, activating the night walker to stealthily patrol nearby at a nearby park, a young girl was playing joyfully, but in fact it was a mutated beast, a heavenly normal tiger. Mutated tiger species level 3, maturity value 4 stars. Primary mutated beast rank talent Twisted Perception can alter the target creature's perception and make the target unable to recognize abnormalities. Zhang Bing silently calculated, it's the first time encountering such a low-level heavenly normal tiger. Like me, both are level 3 with support equipment, probably able to defeat it. Although the city patrol team has completely collapsed, the investigation team outside the city might not be affected yet. As long as the heavenly normal tiger's corpse is handed over to them, it might attract the attention of higher ranks. While Zhang Bing was considering and preparing to act, suddenly his arm was frozen stiff, accompanied by a cold voice echoing, "Are you planning to harm a child? Don't move or I will kill you!" A terrifying pressure from behind Zhang Ping pressed him so hard he was paralyzed and unable to move, clearly wearing an assassination ring combined with a nightwalker. Yet he was still discovered. This person must be very high-ranking. Zhang Ping was about to eliminate a third-level celestial normal lake wearing a little girl's mask when suddenly his whole body froze, and a threatening voice appeared, retracting his thoughts. "Don't make a move." Zhang Ping silently thought that this girl must be far superior to him with many Nightwalker talents, and his assassination ring was also locked by her. She continued with a sharp voice, "If you don't want to die, come to the orphanage's martial arts training ground and find me." Hearing this, Zhang Ping was quite surprised. The orphanage's martial arts training ground, it had disappeared. After finishing speaking, all the ice crystals and her figure vanished like smoke. Zhang Ping silently thought that she was clearly not an accomplice of the celestial normal lake. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had a chance to explain. After a while, Zhang Ping took the initiative to find the meeting point at the vast orphanage. When he was young, he often went to the small park nearby to practice Mo-8 Fist. Therefore, he named the park the orphanage's martial arts training ground. At this moment, Zhang Ping was startled and wondered if that girl knew him. Otherwise, how could she know his secret? Zhang Ping sneaked inside while pondering. Not only that, she had been watching him all along, so when he was about to act, she stopped him. She must have some purpose in bringing him here. Just then, a mutated beast suddenly appeared in front of the protagonist, startling him. But are there mutated beasts in the forest? Starting the identification. Immediately, the system displayed detailed information. Attribute table of the mutated beast. Armored poisonous tailspike species, mutated rat, maturity value 2 stars. Level primary mutated beast, rank 5 talent, extremely poisonous tailspike. It has a poison sac in its body that can secrete poison through the bone spikes at the end of its tail. Judging by its level, Zhang Ping worriedly thought this poisonous-tailed rat was 2 ranks higher than him, but it was cautious and slowly retreated. He might be able to escape. Retreat? No, not possible. If he didn't deal with it now, tomorrow the kids at the orphanage coming to the park might be in danger. It's just a primary mutated beast. But it has equipment that Sister Thu Kwang gave me here. Zhang Ping immediately drew his weapon, a beautiful and high-quality dagger made of cold steel that could easily cause damage to mid-level mutated beasts. Level 10 to 19 and below can be defeated. Zhang Ping didn't hesitate, exerting all his strength to charge at the mutated beast, determined to fight to the end. In his previous life, he had devoured many thrilling stories. The protagonist, upon awakening, already possessed terrifying combat skills, which was indeed quite unreasonable. Although lacking real combat experience, he could still command summoned beasts. Zhang Ping charged into battle. At that moment, the mutated rat suddenly curled up. Spinning rapidly at a terrifying speed, it rushed toward Zhang Ping. How could it have such a special move? He hurriedly raised his dagger to block and simultaneously ordered his body to exert full defense. Mutated beasts of the same level usually surpass humans in close combat ability. Moreover, this rat was 2 ranks higher than him, making the situation even more difficult. Not only that, its iron armor was extremely tough. The beautiful dagger couldn't penetrate it, forcing him to change tactics. After the charge, the rat leapt onto a steep cliff. It crouched, curved its tail, secreted poison from its sac into the tail tip, then suddenly sprayed a barrage of poison rays at Zhang Ping. Our protagonist immediately controlled himself, dodging all attacks as if controlling a character in a game, moving up and down using agile footwork to dodge. When it stopped spraying poison, Zhang Ping leisurely considered. Its weakness was its eyesight, the only place not protected by armor, but curled up like that. Attacking would be more difficult. He had to find a way to break its defense. But a good idea, the primary fire elementalist could swallow flames to transform them into fire elemental energy stored inside the body and release the energy anytime, until the fire element reservoir was depleted. Current fire element energy was 100 out of 100. First, he ordered Ming Quan to pursue the beast. Unexpectedly, knowledge about Ming Quan in the historical book came into play. This technique emphasized strength and force, focusing on pressure to suppress beasts, using size advantage to control smaller opponents. Truong Bin directed himself to unleash Min Chao Fist, and immediately his body automatically dodged through countless poisonous rays to approach the rat at an ideal distance. Instantly, he pretended to withdraw the beauty's tear and thrust forward to ignite a strike. One hand wielded the beauty's tear to poke it while the other secretly prepared the false fire. He smiled triumphantly, mumbling, "Rat, don't be angry, okay?" The false fire's flame tormented the rat. Due to the burning heat, it began to thrash wildly, breaking its curled-up state, screaming pitifully, then taking advantage of its loosened defense. He aimed straight at the vital spot and attacked. Truong Bin exerted full force to stab the beauty's tear into its eye, accompanied by the residual fire element causing the surroundings to blaze fiercely, scattering earth and rocks. After a few minutes, the rat finally died. Truong Bin's level also rose one rank and the other stats accordingly broke through. Indeed, actual combat helps level up faster. Training intensively, thinking carefully, the presence of this poisonous-tailed rat was somewhat strange outside the city. Except for the Celestial Lake, there shouldn't be any other mutated beasts. Lost in deep thought, Truong Bin suddenly became careless. From behind, a silent black aura slid over, enveloping and pressing him to the ground. The sudden situation made him panic intensely. A scream echoed. At that moment, a hand reached out with a reminder, "I'll give you 5 minutes," then used a stream of water to tightly wrap around Truong Bin's entire body. Recognizing the familiar voice, he thought silently, it's the girl from earlier. She suddenly appeared, sword at his side, voice sternly proving he was human. Hearing that Truong Bin was extremely confused, a surge of anxiety rose as he wondered silently, "Prove I'm human. I'm originally human, so how do I prove it?" Then Truong Bin's mind raced. "Prove I'm human. Could it be she is also aware? There are mutated beasts ambushing inside the city, but they cannot be distinguished. That's why she told me to prove it. So when I was preparing to deal with the Celestial Lake, maybe she already suspected." Truong Bin tried to stall to carry out the appraisal. Maybe he could get some hint. Then she said, "The poisonous-tailed rat probably wasn't a test for me, right?" Lu Tu Thien still coldly said, 4 minutes left. Truong Bin kept appraising continuously throughout. Appraisal failed, appraisal failed, appraisal failed. Lu Tu Tien reminded once more, 2 minutes left. After many appraisal failures, finally the skill transformed. Appraisal failed for the 999th time. Intermediate appraisal skill. Upgraded to advanced appraisal skill. Advanced appraisal skill can appraise the target's camp name. System announced appraisal success. Attribute table name Lu Tu, Thien Race Human Faction Cleaning Team, rank 5 stars. Class Awakened Human, advanced level rank 28, a talent controlling water element. Can store water elemental energy by drinking water and can manipulate water elemental energy around and inside the body at will. Truong Bin was surprised so strong and level 28. No wonder it was so hard to appraise. Moreover, Nightwalker and Silent Assassin skills were ineffective against her. The faction was the cleaning team, never heard of before. Could it be the third largest organization besides the patrol team and investigation team? Lu Tu Tien grew impatient and urged 1 minute left. Truong Bin panicked and said, wait. Truong Bin began guessing she called this small park a martial arts training ground. So maybe she also came from an orphanage like me, right? He recalled appraisal info named Lu Tu Tien Race Human Faction Cleaning Team. Truong Bin was troubled, but remembered that in the orphanage, there was no one named Lu Tu Tien. If she came from there, she must have changed her name. Then he guessed a series of names he could think of. She might be Lu Dao Nan, Lu Nat Thu, Lu Hok Sin, or Lu Tu Tu. When hearing the name Lu Tu Tu, Lu Tu Tien was a bit startled. This slight change didn't escape Truong Bin's eyes. The blade in her hand also grazed Truong Bin's neck. Then she threatened that cannot prove you are human. But Truong Bin paid attention to her reaction just now. It seemed she was indeed Lu Tutu, 3 years older than him. When I enrolled in Min Chao Academy, Lu Tutu had already graduated and joined the investigation team. If only the news that both she and I knew. Thinking of this, memories from the past flooded back the image of a white-haired little girl teaching her younger brother the move Tutu Invincible Fist, shaking heaven and earth. You must learn well, okay? Back to the present, Truong Bin unhesitatingly unleashed the first move, then the second, then the third, then the Tutu Invincible Fist, shaking heaven and earth. Lu Tu Tien, like a kitten being teased, puffed up her fur. Lu Tu Tien put away the ice sword. Truong Bin cautiously asked if she was really Tutu, but Lu Tu Tien did not continue the conversation because she felt shy. She asked another question. The second question, based on the Academy's documents, was about your ability as a contract gem. It is considered useless because it cannot meet the activation conditions. Then what the hell have you been doing during this time? Truong Bin had to tell the truth. 2 weeks ago, I swallowed the contract gem and became a summoned beast. But I am only controlled by myself, so I can be immune to the demonic arts of mutated beasts and see through their camouflage layers. Moreover, according to what I recently investigated, currently there are many low-level celestial beasts hiding in the city. I suspect a community has infiltrated Min Chao City. Truong Bin's words shocked Lu Tu Tien clearly. Apparently she did not know this either. Their race has the ability to distort perception. Lu Tu Tien could not keep her indifferent expression and grabbed his hand tightly. What you said is all true. Truong Bin revealed some useful information. Duong Lak Ningiep, the owner of the Van Thuong breakfast shop, the owner of the 9 on Duong Long Chao household goods store, 3 blacksmiths from the Long Thuong weapon shop, and even the little celestial beast you just stopped me from hitting. Those people are all low-level celestial beasts. You can go verify this. Lu Tu Tien turned to go elsewhere. You stay here and don't move. I will be back soon. In her hand, she held a purple stone used for transmitting messages. Jinbo, do you think this news is reliable? On the other end of the line was a mysterious group. The first thing that could be confirmed was, recently, Min Chao City has never detected any mutated beast species as celestial beasts, but the perception distortion ability has appeared. It also matches Truong Bin's description. Approaching the other's appearance became clear. He was a young-looking guy with yellow eyes. Jinbo said I secretly sent someone to capture the 2 closest people. They should be returning soon. At that moment, a big explosion happened behind them. 2 teammates left and ran toward them. What happened? One of them asked. The team leader is the owner of the breakfast shop. She was just taken out of the city and went crazy, struggling to break free and attack us. Behind the person who spoke saw a woman with red eyes chasing after them. Suddenly, the shop owner turned to attack Jinbo, but he didn't pay any attention. Jinbo focused his strength on his arm, almost dying, then punched a hole in the belly of that celestial beast. The monster fell backward, unable to struggle, and died, not knowing your limits at this time. The body of the shop owner gradually decomposed, revealing her true form as a celestial beast. Jinbo then confirmed that the news was true. Finally, we have found out who the enemy is. Jinbo immediately ordered his subordinates to notify other groups to directly attack the target. Yes, at Min Chao Academy, Lak Ti Vu was resting on a chair. Beside her were her comrades. Suddenly, she felt surprised because some subordinates lost contact. Lak Ti Vu sat up. Your Highness. Then she flew into the air to see what was happening. Lak Ti Vu muttered, Nguyet 9 is dead. Someone killed Nguyet 9 outside the city. Duong Lak Ngiep also died. A cold look in Lak Ti Vu's eyes. She could quickly kill and immediately hide her aura. To avoid my tracking, too slow. Then she lost her composure. The illusion also uncontrollably revealed itself. Who exactly is it? Some information about the cleanup team, one of the 3 major organizations in Min Chao City. Hidden within the city, unknown to the public, independent of Min Chao's system, only acting when Min Chao faces a major crisis. Most of the elite members come from the investigation and patrol teams. They are all geniuses who were once famous. These geniuses are basically awakened individuals. From level 25 and above, they voluntarily give up their old identities by faking death, disappearing, and changing names to silently protect Min Chao City, returning to the dark room space. Truong Bin was released. He asked again about verifying Min. Lu Tu Tien nodded. But we cannot verify why you suddenly have the ability to see through the demonic arts of celestial beasts. Is it possible that the demonic arts of celestial beasts deliberately set traps for the opponent? So you can only act as an informant for the time being. I will secretly protect you. If you discover anything at night, you can contact me. Protection and surveillance are arranged. As long as the celestial beast can be dealt with, everything is fine. Before leaving, Lu Tuthin threw a jade pendant to Truong Bin. Here, this jade pendant is a pair one piece called Lan Gok, the other called Noan Ngok if you encounter danger. You just need to use fire to cover the diluted jade territory in my hand. It will also heat up. I know you are in danger and can immediately provide support, but I still suggest you strengthen your own power. After all, no one can guarantee 100% safety for you. Zhang Ping scratched his head. I have also thought about finding a martial arts school to learn boxing, but I can't afford the tuition. Liu Sixian is exactly the type of rich lady who supports others, leaving a message. I will apply for funding. If you have free time, see if there is a suitable martial arts school. That would be great. Thank you, Sister Cici. The city scene has returned to peace. In recent days, the natural disaster lake has decreased a lot, probably handled by the cleanup team. Cici did not reveal her identity to me. It seems she still doesn't trust me much. If it weren't for my appraisal technique upgrading to identify targets belonging to factions, I still wouldn't know she was from the cleanup team. But how did they know right from the start that Mingzhou City was infiltrated by mutated beasts? Well, whatever. As long as it can help solve the natural disaster lake problem, that's enough. Besides, they offer 10,000 Mingzhou money for taking action, which is quite generous. At that moment, a pink-haired girl came over to learn martial arts. Anyone wants to learn Beast King Fist? Zhang Ping also went to get a flyer. Give me one, please. Looking at the tuition fee, he thought silently, this tuition isn't cheap. Also, I don't know if it suits me. Basic boxing introduction, 500 Mingzhou. Money, first form of Beast King Fist, 3000. Mingzhou money, second form of Beast King. Fist, 500 Mingzhou money. Third form of Beast King Fist, 5000 Mingzhou money. Advanced Beast King Fist, 9999 Mingzhou money. The pink-haired girl was excited, definitely worth the money. Our Beast King Fist martial art is also considered famous in Mingzhou City. But Zhang Ping was impatient and kept nodding to get it over with. The pink-haired girl continued, if you don't believe me, I can demonstrate a bit. Without hesitation, the pink-haired girl handed over the flyers and demonstrated the first form of Beast King Fist, dividing into member form, king form, and giant form. Phoenix Claw Form 1. Zhang Ping silently ordered himself to learn Beast King Fist. Whether the footwork or the moves, they are much more powerful than Ming Fist. The first form is indeed a decent collection of martial arts skills. The second form's moves are variable and lack fixed patterns. The third form is just because she is not proficient enough. It completely fails to show the power of Beast King Fist. Just as he thought that the girl suddenly collapsed to the ground, Zhang Ping helped her up. Are you okay? At that moment, two burly men stood beside them. Coldly, they said, who allowed people from Beast King Fist School to hand out flyers here? The pink-haired girl scratched her head awkwardly. Really sorry. I didn't know that handing out flyers here is not allowed. What's wrong with this low-level Beast King Fist martial art? If you want trouble, I advise you to go to the Xingyai Martial Arts School. Let's go. Zhang Ping immediately recognized this flashy guy. Dian 5 consecutive strikes. You just did the consecutive strikes last time in the forge. I haven't settled the score with you yet. Today is just right. Big Brother Hung, take them all down. The pink-haired girl stood in front of Zhang Ping. I won't allow you to bully him. The two burly men activated some skill, causing their muscles to swell quickly. Zhang Ping immediately activated his attribute appraisal board. Name Hung 2 species. Human faction, Xingyi Martial Arts School. Growth 1 star. Class awakened human primary level rank 4 talents, enhanced physical strength intelligence, reduced by 70% in exchange for a certain level of physical skill enhancement. Maximum physical strength is 30%. Attribute board name Hung, big species human faction, Xingyi Martial Arts School, growth 1 star. Class awakened human primary level rank 4 talent enhanced physical strength intelligence reduced by 70% in exchange for a certain level of physical skill enhancement. Maximum physical strength is 30%. The blonde guy threatened, you bastard get lost or I'll take care of you too. Zhang Ping was also shocked by this lame skill. Intelligence exchange for physical enhancement. Are you sure this is a talent? But when looking at the attribute board of the pink-haired girl, he was surprised. Attribute board name Wang Ji Min, species human faction, Beast King Martial Arts School. Growth 7 stars. Class awakened human, advanced primary level rank 3 talent diligence compensates for intelligence learning ability reduced by 90%, but any skill can be improved. Through persistent training every day with consistent perseverance, the growth rate of the same type of exercise will increase by 10% up to 1000%. A talent requires smart compensation. Learning ability decreases by 90% and any skill. can also be improved through persistent training every day with consistent perseverance. The growth rate of the same type of exercise will increase by 10% up to 1000%. Why is the maturity value so high? Unexpectedly, this Wang Jimin is the elder behind it. But with her current strength stepping forward to help me isn't just looking for death, is it? Zhang Ping immediately threw the flyer to Wang Jimin, saying, "This is my business, I should handle it myself." Wang Jimin was a bit anxious. "There are 3 of them. If you handle it yourself, you will be at a disadvantage." "It's okay. Didn't you just show that Wang style a moment ago? Just let me use them to practice a bit." The first brother Hong rushed up first. Brother Hong also ran after that arrogant dog. Zhang Ping easily dodged. The first brother Hong fiercely charged. Zhang Ping bent down, then used his elbow to stab straight into his stomach. The second golden-haired guy who was hit last time was still not scared and rushed after with 3 consecutive punches. Zhang Ping did not hesitate, kicked and broke his 2 balls. This life is considered lost. The third move. Zhang Ping looked at the golden-haired guy and said, "Too bad you didn't bring those 2 along." Then the 3 consecutive punches you always bragged about have turned into 3 consecutive falls, saying that he also immediately left with Wang Jimin. "Let's go, take me to the Beast King Fist School to register." "You really want to register? Really, you're amazing. Just one look and you've already learned the Wang style. So what moves will I have in the future? I wonder if you can teach me." "No problem," Wang Jimin said happily. "Great, with your help, I will definitely become stronger quickly." But Zhang Ping also understood this matter. For him, it's all benefit with no harm. She has 7-star potential. At worst, she will be a high-level awakener in the future, maybe even become a top-level awakener. Perhaps I should find her to help me later, right in front of the Beast King Fist School gate. Standing outside, they also heard the noisy discussions. Someone said the schoolmaster is already on the street. What, the schoolmaster is back? Zhang Ping and Wang Jimin went inside together and saw everyone in chaos. Oh my God, wasn't it? Said the schoolmaster would only be back in 2 days. What to do? I haven't even finished learning half of the Wang-style moves. Who told you guys to be lazy? Accept the punishment. Ha ha ha, hey, wake up. Zhang Ping felt a bit regretful seeing this scene. It seems everyone is very afraid of the schoolmaster. Wang Jimin explained, "Our schoolmaster by day is famously strict. Anyone who doesn't complete their tasks will be severely punished." "What about you? Have you been punished too?" Wang Jimin said proudly, "I was punished the most. For over a month I haven't even reached the standard for the beginner's fist technique, yes." Zhang Ping was speechless. Could it be that this girl likes being mistreated? Is that something to be proud of? Just then the school gate opened and a man walked in. Everyone automatically stood at attention to salute the schoolmaster. Wang Jimin reminded Zhang Ping. "The schoolmaster has arrived. Quickly line up." This schoolmaster looked old at first glance, but had a very strong and proud appearance, making people feel a strong sense of oppression. Bai Day shouted loudly, "Everyone be serious. Incorrect posture punishment, run 50 laps. Yes, Zhang Ping activated appraisal successful. Attribute board name, Bai Day race, human faction, Beast King Fist School, maturity value 1 star. Class high-level awakener, rank 25, talent shape transformation, changing body shape appropriately by eating food. Number of shapes that can be stored depends on level. So far, wolf running form and berserk lion form have been saved. Zhang Ping was surprised by this information, so strong from the rank it seems comparable to fourth sister. It seemed Bai De sensed Zhang Ping's gaze, so he turned and walked close to Zhang Ping, saying, "You're the kid who helped teach the school a lesson yesterday." Zhang Ping was not afraid at all and replied, "So what?" Bai De, the schoolmaster, immediately changed his expression. "Kid, watch this." Zhang Ping didn't understand what that meant. Bai Day immediately threw a punch at Zhang Ping, but he dodged in time. Wait, Bai Day didn't stop, but kept attacking Zhang Ping continuously. "You dodged while saying the teacher is too much right." Without saying anything, he already took action against a newcomer like me. Bok Duke was a bit surprised. A newcomer might be due to increased fighting spirit, or maybe something else. Bok Duke immediately wrapped the fire flame in his arm and rushed toward Truong Bin. "I heard your kid only looked at the Vuong technique once and already learned it." Truong Bin was scared out of his wits. This punch was right in his face, no chance to avoid it. But then Bok Duke turned around 180 degrees, patted his head, saying, good, and laughed heartily. "Ha ha ha, I didn't believe it before, but now I do." "Your kid's awareness isn't bad," he said, then turned to Vuong Kietman, scolding, "Unfortunately, the actor Vuong Quien showed you as a rookie with steps thousands of miles apart." Vuong Kietman slyly looked away. Bok Duke patted Truong Bin's shoulder. "I'll personally train you later. Thanks for the reminder, Instructor Truong Bin." His gaze changed, looking at the trembling disciples behind like a hungry wolf eyeing a flock of lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Next was to check if you all were lazy or not. "All right, everyone line up one by one to spar with me." Anyone who doesn't meet the standard must do 500 push-ups and carry weights for 10 kilometers. Truong Bin could only smile wryly. No wonder you're a body enhancement system awakener. Your training is rough. Vuong Kietman poked Truong Bin's back. Truong Bin turned around and asked, "What's wrong, Vuong Kietman?" Then she shyly said, "Instructor didn't teach me much, so after you train me, can you teach me again?" Truong Bin didn't think much and agreed. "No problem. After learning, come with me to Thiet Chi Hon. I'll train with you." Really, I was worried you'd refuse. But after reviewing Vuong Kietman's attribute chart, it was clear that diligence compensates for intelligence. Her learning ability was lower than 90%. This innate skill was used to torment her teacher. No wonder instructor Bok Duke didn't want to teach her much. Vuong Kietman bowed in gratitude. "Please guide me more in the future." A few days later at Thiet Chi Hon, wrong move, do it again. Sorry. It turned out Truong Bin was teaching Vuong Kietman. Wrong, do it again. Vuong Kietman fell flat on the ground. Feeling sorry for her kindness, Truong Bin's head ached as he broke down the Vuong technique into small moves for her to practice one by one. Only then was there some reluctant effectiveness. But this Vuong boxing style really has a new method. After just a few days of training, he vaguely felt the rank was rising. At that moment, Kusak's voice came to Truong Bin's younger brother. "Sis is back." Truong Bin went outside. "Sis Sak is back." She continued training while he went to check on Vuong Kietman. She rubbed her beak. Just got here and already hearing Kusak complain annoying. This time it was almost a failure. Don't know what the hell, the wild mutated beasts outside have decreased a lot. We had to go deep into the northern forest and finally encountered a pack of wolves, all fierce wolves. Truong Bin was surprised. "Huh, Sis Sak, are you okay?" Kusak took a blue stone from her bag. "Still fine. We used earth concealment to hide from the wolves. They couldn't find prey, so they attacked nearby forest people." Then she handed the stone to Truong Bin. "Lucky fisherman's opportunity, got something good from the wolves. Give me your hand. Rare to find something like this, a Wind Chai treasure stone. A rare quality, a crystallized creature extremely rare and hard to find. It can be used to store wind elemental energy, and through spiritual guidance, the energy can be released to form attacks like Wind Strike and Wind Fury." Truong Bin took it. "This is Wind Chai treasure stone, haha, you know how to distinguish it. Even a child can use this to perform spells like Wind Strike and Wind Fury from thin air." Suddenly, Truong Bin heard strange conversations. "This guy now, daytime like this, not good. Hey, don't let go of my hand, let me do it myself." "What's that sound?" Family's first sword technique, sword energy rampage." "Show me." "Birds on trees in pairs, green water, green mountains bring a smile. Moon 12 is dead, humans are despicable. Today I must eat 2 more. Notification of summoned beast attribute appraisal. Even a child can use this. To perform spells like wind control from thin air, I suddenly Zhang Ping heard unfamiliar conversations. "Hey, now that it's daytime like this, it's not good. Hey, don't let go of my hand so I can do it myself." "What is that sound, Famjia Dao, first awakening blade energy rampaging?" "Let me see the birds on the tree in pairs. Green water, green mountains, bring a smile. Moon 12 is dead, humans deserve to die. Today I have to eat 2 more. Announce the appraisal of the summoned beast attribute board." Zhang Ping Master Zhang Ping Human Race Power Forging Iron Chi Soul 4 Maturity Value 4 stars. Stamina 18 Spirit Power Extremely High Energy 17 Agility 21 Average Value of Ordinary People is 10 Awakened Person Rank Primary Level 4. Covenant Gem Level 4 has activated additional effects. Awakening Talent Feng Yu Unlocking Feng Yu Primary Level. A person with this ability will randomly hear loud emotional voices within a 10-mile radius and cannot actively control them. Zhang Ping laughed with delight. Indeed, a new talent similar to the previous fire awakening. The Covenant Gem has taken effect. The sound of Tianchang Lake echoed again to UA6 in the store. Besides Wang Jiaman, there was still a boy, that boy. It seems to be the one who harmed us in the dormitory, causing us to be reprimanded by His Majesty. It seems the smell is fine. Let's eat their meat this noon. Zhang Ping was surprised and recognized the sound, so it was Tianchang Lake. I will eat that brat Wang Jiaman to give you a look. Zhang Ping solemnly said, "We are being targeted." Liu Sixian, just finished bathing, stepped out to dry his hair, noticed the jade stone on the table continuously glowing. "Oh no, Zhang Ping is in danger, Zhang Ping." At this time, not receiving any response from Liu Sixian, he could not help but worry. "It's been so long, Sister Cece still hasn't arrived. It feels like these 2 Tianchang lakes have lost patience. They will enter at any moment." Suddenly, Sister C stepped from behind. Seeing his serious face, she couldn't help but worry. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Zhang Ping looked at Sister C and also felt uneasy. These two are intermediate Tianchang lakes. Even with Sister C here, they cannot win. He then tried to raise an alarm. Oh, right, Sister C, you just came back and haven't met Uncle Lou yet, right? Or should you go upstairs with Uncle Lou? I'll go buy some food to cook for you two. Hurry up, it's been a long time since Sister has eaten a meal cooked by you, and also take the Feng Chi contract gem with you. Don't keep Sister waiting too long. Zhang Ping waved to Sister Say, okay. Taking advantage of the moment, he brought Wang Jieman and left here. To avoid involving Sister Say and Uncle Lou, he went to the backyard of the forge, saw Wang Jiman still practicing martial arts. Zhang Ping, check if my movements are correct. He approached and pulled Wang Jieman's hand. Don't make a sound, I'm taking you away. Suddenly, two Tianchang lakes approached. Where are you two going? Zhang Ping immediately shielded Wang Jieman. The target has been reached. She still innocently went to meet her parents. Why are you two here? But Zhang Ping anxiously shouted, Don't go there! Wang Jieman pulled his sleeve. They are my parents, it's okay. The information of the two mutated Tianchang lakes appeared again. Mutated beast. Tianchang lake fox species, mutated value. Mature 1-star rank, 15 talent perception distortion 10 can adjust the perception of the target creature and force the target not to detect anything unusual. Mutated beast Tianchang lake fox species, mutated value. Mature 1-star rank, 16 talent perception distortion. Can adjust the perception of the target creature and force the target not to detect anything unusual, but in Wang Jieman's eyes, they were still a kind couple. Man, who is the person beside you? Why do you seem afraid of your parents? He is a friend from my boxing school. But just as he finished speaking, suddenly, the ground beneath the two sank. Zhang Ping realized it was a dark space room. Great, Wang Jieman is scared, huh? What is this? The two Tianchang lakes jumped in. Oh no, they ran away. Zhang Ping hugged Wang Jieman tightly. Parents don't pay attention to them. The dark Tianchang lakes did not let go and directly charged into the dark room. Not good, they are chasing us. He was scratched on the back by a claw, gritting his teeth. Blood flowing from the corner of his mouth, Zhang Ping and the other both fell into the dark room. Zhang Ping tried to calm down and stepped in front of Wang Jieman to shield her. Zhang Ping, are you okay? Still fine. Wang Jieman could not believe her eyes. Her parents attacked Zhang Ping. Why don't go there? They are mutated beasts. The two Tianchang lakes were arrogant. Oh, they can see through our disguise, then we definitely can't leave you here. Zhang Ping tried hard to use a small knife to block the attack, too fast to avoid. This is the level gap in rank stars. Another Tianchang lake approached Wang Jieman, man, good daughter of mother. Not good. The other went to find Wang Jieman, then she stepped forward, mother. Mother. Zhang Ping gritted his teeth to resist. My life is almost over. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded. Zhang Ping moved aside, no one else but Liu Sixian. She swung her sword and killed two Tianchang lakes in one sweep. Zhang Ping was reassured, but Wang Jieman became even more agitated. Sister Cici, no. She rushed through the runway, finishing off the two celestial tigers, then turned back to sheath her sword, hoping the two were unharmed. Wang Jieman shouted loudly, losing her composure, clutching her head with dark, intense eyes, struggling. Why did you kill my parents? Zhang Ping tried to calm her down. Wang Jiemin, they are not your parents, they are just celestial tigers disguised as your parents. Wang Jimin held her head, tears in her eyes, unable to accept it. No way you lied to me, they were clearly my parents, how could you lie to me? Zhang Ping held Wang Jimin's hand, turning to look at Liu Sixian. Sister Cici, why don't the celestial tigers reveal their true form? Liu Sixian stepped forward. Maybe there are celestial tigers of king level inside the city. The community's innate mystical arts are enhanced, so even low-level foxes can hide from high-level awakened humans. The ones we killed before were all outside the city. That's why their true forms were exposed. Zhang Ping bent down and tore off the mask on the celestial tiger's face. Maybe only we can expose their disguise. Wang Jimin, these two mutated beasts killed my parents and disguised themselves as them. White smoke surrounded the celestial tiger and gradually dissipated. The image of her parents appeared before her, gently stroking her head. Is this the truth? How could it be from the rat's nest at this moment? The prince sat on the throne and said, in 1 week, 9 humans have died. It seems humans have found a way to break the illusion magic. A celestial tiger stepped forward. Your Highness, we should just kill all the humans who take over this city. But, another immediately objected, then what will we eat, huh? Eat grass. The prince waved his hand, ordering silence. Foolish. Killing humans is unrealistic and wastes food. The urgent matter now is to lure them out from the shadows. Eliminate them one by one. I wonder if the deputy city lord has any countermeasures. Wang Zheming bowed his head and said, Your Highness. Perhaps we can attract other races to enter and disturb Mingzhou City, then focus on eliminating some of the strongest human elites. How do you know they are still inside the city? Besides the patrol team and investigation team, there is another organization. At that time, the city lord was severely injured by the king. He was wounded and fled. I suspected he was hiding in that organization. Yes, I am sure he won't leave the city and is waiting for us to expose a weakness. But the celestial tiger below agreed. Your Highness, I think bringing other races into the city is a good idea. Yes, exactly. Just right, I want a change of taste. The prince stepped down. But the king is still in a deep sleep. Although he helped our race, if he dares to make any move, I will definitely kill him. I hope you understand your position. Huang Zheming knelt before the prince. I dare not disobey. I dedicate my life to Mingzhou City. Unfortunately, the city lord is useless. Mingzhou City is slow and cannot develop. But I only hope Mingzhou City can be taken over by the strong. Wang Jiamin knelt slowly before the corpses of the two celestial tigers, gently touching their blood. The weakness and guilt were clear in her eyes. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. Sorry, Lu Xixian coldly said. Even if you had realized it earlier, what could you have done? Stop talking. Sister Cici Wang Jiamin lost her composure and shouted, Enough! After all, it's my fault for being too weak. People like me can't even learn the simplest law of power. Why did this happen to my parents? Why didn't I die? Zhang Ping hugged Wang Jimin tightly. Listen, this is not your fault. Liu Xixian looked on with tears. This is a place to get close, right? She turned away. You and I are alike. I also had someone very important to me who was killed by the celestial tigers of the patrol team. I can't help but think if I had stopped him from going to the patrol team that day, would this have been avoided? But in my heart, I know even if I go back, the outcome wouldn't change. But joining the patrol team was her dream. No one could stop her. No one can change fate. So the death of your family is not your fault, but you can change the future, become stronger, and protect others important to you. I believe your parents in heaven would be happy for you. Wang Jiamin's lips trembled with gratitude. Thank you, Zhang Ping. Zhang Ping continued. As for the monsters inside the city, trust me, I will definitely destroy them one by one, but just after I finished speaking, you spat blood on Vuong Kietman's face, huh? Then the light in your eyes gradually blurred and darkened, leaving only the calls of Truong Bin, huh? So I was seriously injured like that. Just now, I ordered my own body to brace itself unexpectedly. It could only be maintained for a while after sinking into the shadow. You slowly opened your eyes again. The faces of Vuong Kietman and Lu Tu Tien were slowly appearing before you. Good, finally, he woke up. Truong Bin woke up, looked around, and said, How long have I been asleep? Don't move, be careful, the wound might bleed again. Vuong Kietman approached determinedly. Truong Bin, I have decided. I want to become stronger. Then go with everyone to eliminate Thien Thuong Ho. I believe in you, you will definitely succeed. Lu Tu Tien also temporarily obeyed Miss Vuong. Now your home is no longer safe. I suggest you stay here temporarily. If the two of you stay together, I can keep you both safe. Truong Bin was observing them when suddenly a sound faintly reached his ears. Still deeply asleep, clarifying the location, Huang Troc's subordinate dared not Truong Bin could clearly recognize that it was the voice of His Royal Highness. Or this sound might be from Lak Thivu. Truong Bin immediately turned to Lu Tu Tien. Sister Tu Tu, is there intelligence about Thien Thuong Ho? What did you say after a while after hearing Truong Bin's report? Lu Tu Tien also somewhat guessed Huang Troc Min. He is the deputy city lord of Min Chao City, appeared in the conversation with Thien Thuong Ho. Moreover, he called himself a subordinate. To be clear, there is a possibility he has rebelled, and the king might have enough illusion magic to strengthen the community, so he must be the kingpin among Thien Thuong Ho. If their king is still deeply asleep, then now is a good opportunity for us to counterattack Truong Bin. We need you to cooperate to distinguish Thien Thuong Ho. No problem. At the same time, on the old Lu's side, they were still waiting for me. I'm hungry already. Wait a little longer. Truong Bin bought food, probably about to return. At the base, the cleaning team at this moment, Tran Lok V, Manny, and Hua Kiet were in the hallway. Manny complained before you told me to start Mat 7, now you want to open Thien Mac. Tutu really knows how to boss people around. The three of them entered the room. Hua Kiet asked Manny, aren't you drinking coffee? This time it will probably take a long time. No need, I just drank some. Then let's get started. Hua Kiet stomped her foot on the ground, raised her hand, a light appeared, creating a magic seal of solar light pulse. Energy completed. Mandy and Tran Lak Vi continued. The dark veil was completed. The light image illusion transformation was completed. From within the mind's magic seal appeared a strange phantom. Huyen Quang Thien Mac activated. After a period of cooperation, the cleaning team finally agreed to reveal some information to me. The cleaning team is the most secretive organization of Min Chao City. Their function is to step out when Min Chao City is about to face disaster, simultaneously cleaning up all the filth in Min Chao City. They are the trump card of Min Chao City. The cleaning team often has to carry out secret actions, and the team supporting their actions is a specially structured team called the Barrier Organization, according to what Sister Tutu said. The Barrier Organization has 3 members, mainly the team leader, Manny, whose ability is Dark Veil Space. The dark room I entered many times before was created by her own hands. Hua Kiet's ability is Solar Light Pulse Energy. By absorbing light to provide energy to maintain the combat strength of teammates, isn't this like a backup charger, Tran Lac V? His ability is Light Image Illusion. Transformation, gaining invisibility by changing the color of light and shadow on the surface of objects. The 3 of them combined can activate Huyen Kuang. Tianmak can pull creatures under the king level in the dark veil into the dark room space. The world inside can also freely adjust the scenes inside. To mesmerize opponents is the strongest tactic of the Barrier Organization. If Tien Thuong Ho silently kills people by distorting perception, then we will use their own way to repay them. Nguyet Nat and Nguye Tu were walking on the street. The atmosphere around them seemed somewhat gloomy. The 2 whispered and Nguye Tu said, "How about we choose some people here to take back? Lately, the city hasn't been very safe, better to be a bit careful." And Nguyet Nat provoked, "Why are you already scared?" Nguye Tu was silent for a moment. Attracting Nguyet Nat's attention, she cautiously looked up at the surrounding light and asked Nguyet Nat, "Do you feel something is abnormal?" "What's abnormal? I think you're as suspicious as Tao Tao already." And Nguyet Nat looked around with sharp eyes and said, "Where did everyone go?" At that moment, above, a fist swung towards them from behind, causing a large vibration all around, but they dodged it. Looking too shadowy, it appeared to be a tall man. Unfortunately, one punch couldn't kill 2 people. She shouted loudly, "No! You are the one who recently killed my kind in Min Chao City, and yet you dare to blatantly attack us. Aren't you afraid we will call for reinforcements?" It turned out both were from the Celestial Fox clan, but Kim Ba was still not afraid. "Oh, why don't you try calling them?" A boy using Golden Blood Kim Ba, level 32, according to Truong Bin's intelligence. These 2 are about level 25. I should be able to handle them. The other 2 recklessly charged in numbers. Nguyet Nat rushed to attack the boy. So arrogant, even a white-skinned guy can block the attack. But the boy immediately noticed something unusual. Before he could react, the other attacked again. "Such a small attack, I clearly blocked it." Nguyet Nat laughed scornfully while continuously attacking the boy. "Is that all your skill?" Truly unable to understand how those of my kind were killed, Kim Ba punched Nguyet Nat's face, instantly becoming stronger than the high-level Lin Min. "Now you know." Nguye Tu anxiously looked back at Nguyet Nat. She rushed to attack the boy. "You bastard, I must take your life!" But just as her hand reached in front of him, she stopped. It turned out the boy had recognized the Celestial Fox's true body. The human form was completely different. The boy held the Celestial Fox's hand, not the human mask. "So that's it." Although he couldn't see it. "But I definitely understand your form. This ability is very strong for ambush attacks, but not effective in direct combat." The boy twisted Nguyet Tu's arm, causing her to scream in pain. Nguyet Nat shouted, "Save me!" She tried to attack the boy from behind, but Kim Ba turned with a sinister golden gaze and smiled. The sisters hurriedly covered their sensitive spots upon seeing that smile. "Hello!" The boy swung once, sending Nguyet Nat flying. Then he jumped on her back and stomped hard, pinning her to the ground again. "See you next time." Nguyet Nat collapsed onto Nguyet Tu, trembling in pain. "Why can't we sense our kind? They've tricked us!" "But calling him a G-spot hurts. Even girls don't forgive that, especially Nagachu." He punched again. "One more thunderous punch, here we go." Nguyet Nat and Nguyet Tu screamed loudly, wanting to tear through the eardrum. "I hate this one more time." Truong Bin and Lu Tu Tin, who were observing from behind, marveled at the boy's strength. After all, Kim Ba was also the team leader of the combat unit. Truong Bin thought of Son Goku, but with that design. It's hard not to associate him with a Saiyan. Lu Tu Tien asked blankly, "What is that?" Outside, the world was still very peaceful, suddenly at this moment. The device on Lu Tu Tien's wrist notified Lu Tu Tien, "I am Toi Bach. The beast transformations outside the city have begun gathering and causing chaos for unknown reasons. If they enter the city now, it will likely increase the burden on Huyen Quan Tien Mak. You should go outside the city to investigate the situation. But if you worry about Truong Bin, take him along. It's a good chance to train his combat abilities." "Sure, the Celestial Foxes he mentioned before. We have already recorded it. I will arrange the combat team to handle it." Truong Bin thought. Previously, Chisak encountered a pack of storm wolves gathering. Could it be related to this? Lu Tu Thien walked forward. "Let's go." Truong Bin followed him outside the city. At the forge, I will send someone to protect you. The person just now was a big figure, right? The leader of our group. After the mission, you will meet the Intelligence Research Institute. The basic level is from level 1 to 10. Truong Bin's current rank is level 4, intermediate level 11 to 20. Most celestial foxes are intermediate to high level 21 to 30. Lu Tu Tien is level 28. Few celestial foxes are elite high-level peak level 31 to 40. The human limit is level 40. Kim Ba is level 32. The Moon King might be peak level king level 40 to 70. Beast transformations have no limit. The celestial fox community includes king-level existence. The system in front of Truong Bin suddenly flashed an urgent notification. Fire energy quantity only half left. He panicked, heart pounding. It's over. The last attack consumed all the energy. At this moment, hundreds of thousands of white rabbits with fierce faces and fiery eyes slowly advanced toward him. Truong Bin instinctively stepped back, legs trembling. The fear surged in his chest before he could think of a way to cope, especially when the number of rabbits was so large it made people angry. Suddenly, a leader rabbit was noticeably bigger. The rest growled furiously, mouths wide open, revealing sharp teeth, eyes threatening as if wanting to devour. Truong Bin hurriedly rummaged through his coat pocket. Then he shouted excitedly, "That's right, this quantity is still enough to activate the jade pendant." Just as he pulled out the jade pendant, the white rabbit simultaneously charged forward like lightning tearing through space. In panic, Truong Bin's mind had only one thought: the best strategy is to run. He ran while screaming desperately, "Sister Tutu, save me!" with the jade pendant in his hand, flashing flickering flames. Suddenly, 4 white rabbits rushed out to block the front, each face fierce with murderous intent. Truong Bin turned around in horror, realizing the rabbits behind were closing in fast, muttering in a trembling voice, "No way! They even know how to use tactics front and back." Frozen in place as if rooted to the ground, he couldn't move. The white rabbits gradually closed the circle, forming a deadly ring. Truong Bin sighed in despair. This time it's really troublesome. At that moment, the rabbits simultaneously shot acid bullets from their ears, a mystical blue light from the acid illuminating the whole area. He fearfully curled up, sitting down, holding his head to shield himself, using his clothes as a shield to withstand the first attack. But strangely, Truong Bin did not feel any damage at all. A layer of water-based oil suddenly appeared behind him, protecting him from the acid rain. He glanced and immediately recognized the familiar water element flow. It was Lu Tu Tien. She calmly stepped forward, raised her hand to dissolve the water barrier. Truong Bin happily jumped up and cheered, "It really is Sister Tutu Lu Tu Tien," her face cold and emotionless. She only uttered 2 brief words. Step-back energy surged in her hands, transforming into a powerful stream of water. She looked straight at the white rabbits, her voice calm. "Even the rabbit bullets are violent now, huh?" Instantly, a tsunami hundreds of meters high rose up, roaring forward with destructive power. The strong water current swept away the rabbits, causing them to panic and scream in the flow. Lu Tu Tien snapped her fingers, and the fierce water instantly froze, imprisoning the rabbits in a cold ice layer unable to move. Truong Bin witnessed the scene before him. His mouth agape, he exclaimed in admiration, "So amazing just now, I only dealt with one, and I had to use all my strength." Then Lu Tu Tien turned back her eyes, sharp and cold, looking at Truong Bin, asking, "You just left not long ago. How come so many appeared suddenly?" Truong Bin looked confused, raised both hands, shrugged innocently. "I don't know either." Lu Tu Tien rolled her eyes, her eyebrows slightly furrowed, showing fatigue, but before she could rest, another wave of white rabbits charged in, countless in number. She swung her hand, a blue sword appeared shimmering with light. She shouted loudly, "No matter how many there are, it's the same." But suddenly she stopped, carefully observing the rabbits' behavior. They had no intention to attack the 2 of them, but focused on rushing to the previously frozen rabbits. Truong Bin muttered in surprise, "Zero attack over here. Is it because of that leader? But it should be dead by now, right?" Lu Tu Tien lowered her body legs wide apart, sword held behind, ready in a fighting stance. But the rabbits paid no attention, only busy rescuing the leader. Seeing the opportunity, she rushed forward, her voice cold. "If that's the case, I won't be polite anymore." A few sharp sword strikes swept through the white rabbits, were wiped out cleanly, blood splattered everywhere, none could resist. Only the last one remained. She raised her sword high and struck down powerfully, ending the entire group. Lu Tu Tien looked at the frozen leader rabbit, its face still fierce. Its sharp teeth bared threateningly. She pondered for a moment, muttering, "If I'm not mistaken, the answer lies within this rabbit's body." She raised her hand toward it, softly dissolving the ice layer, which immediately shattered into small pieces. She sat down, carefully peeling back each layer of ice, searching for something. Suddenly, she exclaimed, "Found it!" In her hand was a blue, six-sided gem, sparkling with mysterious light. Truong Bin approached, bent down curiously, and asked, "Soul Lure Orb, what is this? It smells so fragrant." Then Lu Tu Tien carefully observed the orb and slowly explained, "This is a tool made by an organization used to control mutated beasts," she pondered, imagining in her mind. "A woman controlling a venomous python and a long-horned lion is the Chu family beastmaster," she continued. "Indeed, they have appeared. I heard the Soul Lure Orb emits a special fragrance. Only low-level mutated beasts can smell it. This scent has led the white rabbits here." Fiercely growling, she stopped and then added that the soul-enticing beast-taming orb would cause loss of reason and eventually force taming. That is why the leader rabbit became noticeably more aggressive. But how the Chu family controls the tamed beasts is still unknown to us. She tightly held the soul orb in her hand. Liu Tushan continued, "This thing is not digested. If ignored, surely more mutated beasts will be controlled." She turned into an ice sphere, then crushed it into countless small pieces to let them fall scattered on the ground. In short, the violence of the mutated beasts is definitely related to the soul-enticing orb. I will report back to headquarters. Turning to Zhang Ping, she said seriously, "Whether it is the Chu family or not, it must be investigated clearly. You seriously practice with me outside the city." Hearing this, Zhang Ping immediately stood straight, raised his right hand, and shouted loudly, "Yes." Suddenly, from afar behind a tree, a figure in a black cloak silently observed. Eavesdropping on all actions and words of the two Lu Tushan seemed to notice something unusual. She rushed forward and pushed Zhang Ping back, causing him to stagger and almost fall. A burst of power shot from her hand, slashing straight into the tree trunk. The tree fell, but only left a layer of ice on the cut with no other marks. Zhang Ping was puzzled and asked suddenly, "What's going on?" She stared at the tree trunk and replied nothing. But in her heart she thought, could it be that she was mistaken? 1 week later, in the gloomy hall, Luo Tivu summoned his subordinates for a secret meeting. A subordinate stepped forward and respectfully reported to His Highness. "All the celestial foxes living in the statue man's mouth have been summoned here, but the mutated beasts of other tribes outside are still raging wildly." Luo Tivu was silent, his cold eyes thinking that the violence of mutated beasts is becoming more frequent. Could it be that Huang Jieming is behind this? No, we cannot fully rely on him. We must take action. She stood up with a stern voice. "Surely you all know that recently humanity has found a way to eliminate and control the spirit causing heavy losses to our tribe. In the past week, we discovered that the killed clansmen were mainly concentrated in the statue man's mouth. You who live nearby are very likely to become the next targets. I want you to create some chaos to make the enemy think you have found clues and intend to flee. From there, lure them to strike early and become bait." A celestial fox showed worry and exclaimed about this matter. Luo Thivu immediately radiated killing intent, his eyes blazing, shouting loudly, "I want to see who is really behind this." The whole group of subordinates shouted in unison, their momentum shaking the entire hall. Meanwhile, in the dark forest, Zhang Ping was fighting frantically to level up. Taking advantage of the night, he killed numerous poisonous rabbits until dawn broke. The system suddenly announced the Night Walker has expired. The rabbits immediately detected Zhang Ping and began a fierce counterattack. He silently calculated that after a week of hunting rabbits, he had reached level 6. Knowing their weaknesses and attack methods, he first neutralized their ranged attacks to provoke them. When angered, they would coat their bodies with acid and rush in to grapple. The acid can be burned, but the burn time is short and not deadly. If using chain scales to train the snake as fuel, the fire will burn until the rabbits turn to ash. I call this move the True Fire Fake Three Sisters Blaze. After all, fire is the nemesis of poison, so these rabbits can be easily eliminated thanks to accumulated experience. This time, Zhang Ping faced an unprecedented number of rabbits and was confident he would level up. The appraisal appeared, making him cheer happily indeed, leveling up by 1 rank from level 6 to 7. Attributes improved significantly: stamina, 24, infinite spirit power strength, 25, agility, 29. Especially the contract gem also upgraded to level 5. He thought about waiting until level 5 to activate it. Wait, the contract gem also leveled up. Zhang Ping created a sparkling blue gem, pondering that he had thought the gem's rank synchronized with his own level. But when he jumped 2 levels to 6, the gem remained at level 4. Could it be that gems are getting harder to upgrade? This time he wondered what ability would awaken, hoping it would be a combat skill. While Zhang Ping was still lost in thought, a strange phenomenon appeared behind the corpse of a rabbit, suddenly turning black with glaring eyes emitting a deadly aura. He was startled and turned around, exclaiming in surprise, "This one isn't dead yet." The black rabbit looks unusual, very different from the previous rabbits. Zhang Ping immediately activated Fire Flame, confidently saying, "No matter how many times it's the same. I am different now." He charged forward to attack the black rabbit directly. The rabbit did not dodge, but rushed straight at him, making Zhang Ping excited. "Oh, it dares to charge head-on!" But surprisingly, instead of being stabbed, the rabbit turned into a black bone blade that easily pierced through his body. Truong Bin quickly switched the knife to his left hand, thinking silently, "What is this? Could it be because I killed too many rabbits that restless spirits were born?" He did not hesitate to swing the knife with a powerful strike, hitting the rabbit precisely. It immediately returned to its original state, lying still. Truong Bin frowned, wondering since when the rabbit bullet had this skill. Could it also be possessed by a soul-controlling spell? He slashed open the rabbit's belly to check inside, and indeed found a strange object. But when he tried to appraise it, the system kept reporting appraisal failure. Appraisal failed. He muttered that it had been a long time since he encountered something so difficult to appraise. Finally, the result appeared: Manhwa essence quality, unclear quality, containing essence power from the testicles of Manhwa black mountain goat. Consuming it would cause unpredictable consequences. Truong Bin was stunned. The black mountain goat's testicles, if eaten continuously for 3 days and nights without fatigue, appraisal failed. He kept trying to appraise, but failed again and again. Truong Bin thought silently that it had been a long time since he encountered something so hard to extract information from a Manhwa essence of unclear quality. The essence power inside the testicles of the Manhwa black mountain goat, if consumed, would cause unimaginable events. The black mountain goat's testicles, if eaten continuously for 3 days and nights without fatigue. 6 quality essence balls, too supreme, made Truong Bin struggle to extract even a little clue. Appraisal successful. Manhwa essence of unclear quality, essence energy stored in the testicles of the black mountain goat Manhwa. After use, something unexpected will happen. Just after appraisal, the system immediately replayed footage of a black mountain goat fighting hundreds of mutated beasts. Despite overwhelming strength, it still couldn't withstand the huge numbers. At the final moment, it chose mutual destruction, with a wild boar turning into a bare skeleton, leaving only the testicle that fell into the hands of the protagonist, Truong Bin. He silently thought mutual destruction. Then he had a hunch. This pearl must be a rare treasure item of Nana Feng Chi, but how to activate its effect effectively? Direct contact was useless, unlike the previous awakening. Could it be that he had to swallow this thing? The problem was that this was the testicle of that black mountain goat. Truly horrifying and nauseating. At that moment, Truong Bin suddenly recalled painful memories of being brutally oppressed by Tien Thuong Ho and his childhood sweetheart being killed by him. As for himself, he was powerless to do anything. He muttered, "You're even weaker than an ant. What right do you have to think that way?" Truong Bin immediately stuffed the testicle into his mouth. Swallowing it down, an immediate explosive reaction occurred. Negative emotions surged, engulfing his whole body. A severe headache struck, making Truong Bin writhe, clutch his head, and scream loudly. He recalled the image of To Tin Jiao holding him tightly, then the scene of her being killed by Tien Thuong Ho, turning into a terrifying mask. At that moment, To Tin Jiao's gentle voice echoed back. Truong Bin agreed. "Even if you face any failure, you must keep living." Seeing To Tin Jiao's smile mixed with tears, Truong Bin immediately regained composure and struggled to get up. He silently vowed, "To Tin Jiao, rest assured, before I kill all those fox spirits, I absolutely will not die." Appraisal successful. Summoned beast, Truong Bin master Truong Bin. Race human, awakened class pseudo primary level 7, maturity value 6 stars. Stamina 26, agility 29, spirit power, infinite talent gem contract level 5, additional effect level 5 activated. Manhwa body primary level can manipulate creatures through their fear. Transform into mist to control 4 mist points, 20 out of 100. Each point of mist consumed the mist entity has 10% attack and 10% defense. At the current level, up to 1000% can be created. Truong Bin was extremely amazed by this new talent. This time it was a real combat form, both offense and defense, seemingly with power proportional to the amount of mist consumed. At maturity value, it jumped 3 stars. In the blink of an eye, Manhwa body was that powerful. At that moment, he suddenly shed tears, laughing and crying, "Ha ha, damn it, why did I show this expression?" Unwilling, joyful, tense, and uncomfortable, who could know? In short, avenging Tu Tin Jiao was only a matter of time. While Truong Bin was muttering to himself, suddenly, a group of people approached. A curious voice called out, "Brother, are you okay?" Another guy groaned, "We still have to go." "Don't be nosy. Right while there are no mutated beasts around, let's quickly enter the city." That man anxiously asked the brother. Truong Bin slowly stood up as a sudden spread of pitch-black, eerie fog surrounded them. He glanced at the group and replied, "I'm fine." Before he finished speaking, the whole group panicked and ran for their lives, shouting, "Ghost, ghost, ah!" Meanwhile, his fog points jumped from 20 to 35. Seeing this, Truong Bin was astonished and exclaimed, "Could it be that I can absorb others' fear and transform it into fog? This fog gives me a sensation that it is not real fog. It doesn't even count as energy, but the fog's form can change according to my will." As he spoke, he transformed it into sharp claws. Then it turned into a sparkling small dagger. He only wondered about its power. "Let's test the lowest level damage," he said. He used one fog point to slash at an ancient tree, splitting it cleanly in half. Just one reserved fog point was already this powerful. The ancient tree fell on Truong Bin, but he immediately chopped it into 1,000 pieces in the blink of an eye. Interesting, it can cut and also defend against attacks. The effects of this fog are diverse. If skillfully used, Minvu Chi, there will become a trump card for him to deal with high-level mutated beasts. For now, just support the team in clearing first. Then return to the forest to farm monsters and become even stronger. Truong Bin stood still, attentively examining his hand. From afar, Lu Tu rushed over, shouting loudly, "Truong Bin Yu!" Casting spells with both hands ready to fight, Lu Tu stood in front of him, her sharp eyes scanning cautiously. "You've encountered mutated fog beasts. Where are they?" Truong Bin stood beside her, smiling shyly and lightly scratching his cheek. That familiar scene suddenly reminded him of old memories, silently making him think of Chisak. With embarrassment, he stammered, "Chi Tu. Actually, the story is like this." After listening to his entire story, Lu Tu was extremely shocked, unable to believe what she had just heard. She repeatedly asked, "What you ate Minvu essence?" She angrily shouted right in his face, continuously scolding, "Truong Bin, are you implying I lived too long? You dare to eat unknown things recklessly. Do you know you almost died?" Truong Bin dared not argue, only forced a smile, lightly rubbing his ear silently, thinking it probably wasn't that serious since he had already used divination. He hurriedly comforted her gently. "It's okay. If there really is a problem, you can order yourself to vomit it out." Lu Tu glared at him sharply, her anger not yet subsided. She snorted coldly, full of dissatisfaction. "On what basis do you think you can vomit it out?" She waved her hand, summoning a sparkling ice stream in her palm, then suddenly asked seriously, "Have you considered the possibility that it might be a parasite?" Truong Bin's face paled briefly. He curiously asked back with a slightly trembling voice, "Chi Tu, do you mean what I ate is actually something very dangerous?" Lu Tu frowned slightly, her tone calm as she analyzed the mutated beast. "Fog is originally a creature with vague origins, unpredictable." She paused for a moment, carefully dissecting the situation. "They do not have a fixed form usually. They hide as parasites on other creatures. The black mountain goat and the rabbit you mentioned are probably just puppets controlled when the host dies. They infiltrate every internal organ, patiently waiting for a new host." Lu Tu emphasized the core point. The key lies in their ability to control the victim. Hearing this, Truong Bin felt a chill. His initial confidence completely vanished. He silently questioned himself. "Doesn't that fog already have a contract with me?" He quietly reconsidered everything about the moment he swallowed the Minvu essence. Was that intense pain caused by the fog fighting for control over my body? Finally, he voiced his pent-up concern with a worried tone. "If you are fine, could it be that the parasite failed?" Lu Tu shook her head lightly, her tone uncertain. "I don't know. You are very special. Maybe you have a monster inside you that destroyed the mutated fog. Or maybe you can absolutely control yourself so even if parasitized, it doesn't affect you." Suddenly, she leaned close to him and smiled mischievously. Then she teased him with a half-joking, half-serious tone. "In short, if I find anything strange about you, I can only kill you." Truong Bin flinched and hurriedly begged, No, that's wrong." At that moment, a small spider suddenly dropped silk between the two of them. The cute little spider opened its sparkling eyes and looked at her. Then she raised her voice with innocent surprise, rarely stunned, before the giant spider suddenly appearing close to her face. Her body stiffened for a moment. She panicked and summoned the ice sword. Then she screamed in terror. Lu Tutu wildly swung the sword in all directions, almost hitting Truong Bin, who managed to dodge in time. She kept shouting non-stop, "There is a very big spider." Then she rushed forward, wrapping her arms tightly around him, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment, quickly chasing it away. "Hurry up." Truong Bin gently stroked her hair, his heart swelling warmly. He smiled quietly, still afraid of insects like that. Exactly like when they were children, he reminisced about their childhood days together. Lu Tutu was quietly sitting reading under the shady tree when Truong Bin hurriedly ran over. His face beaming, "Sister Tutu, look what I caught." He excitedly held the insect close to her face, causing her to panic and scream, flailing her hands wildly. "Quickly take it somewhere else." The insect panicked, struggled, and flew away. Truong Bin sadly watched his new friend escape, his voice full of regret. "The new friend I caught was chased away by you like that." Lu Tutu stepped closer, gently stroked his head, her voice tenderly scolding. "You silly boy, there are many people in the orphanage who can be your friends, so why do you catch insects to be friends?" Truong Bin pouted, whispering sadly, "But one day they will leave the orphanage. What will I do then?" She pulled him into her arms, squeezing warmly, then firmly promised, "Sister Tutu agrees with you. No matter what happens later, I will always be your friend." Truong Bin looked up, eyes shining brightly, asked eagerly, "Really? Don't trick me." Lu Tutu smiled brightly. "Let's pinky swear." Time passed like a flash. Back in the present, Truong Bin still gently held Lu Tutu until she gradually regained her composure. Only then did she realize she was pressed close to him, her cheeks burning red like fire. She panicked and hurriedly cast a freezing spell on him. "What are you doing hugging me so tightly?" Lu Tutu calmed down, broke the ice layer off him, then turned to leave. To hide her rising embarrassment, Truong Bin knew that in the wild, any unknown items could be dangerous. There is no free meal in this world, although this time he was lucky to escape in the future when facing such items. He must not let his guard down. She gently tucked her hair behind her ear, turned to him with the seriousness of an elder sister. "Remember that well." Truong Bin obediently nodded. He watched her for a while, then smiled quietly, thinking he once thought after Sister Tutu joined the cleaning team, her temperament became distant. Colder, keeping her distance from him. But now, clearly, she hadn't changed, still silently caring and protecting him as before, just hiding it. Suddenly, Lu Tutu's communication device rang urgently, the red signal light flashing. She quickly grabbed it, hearing a report that shocked her. "How could this be? I understand now." She turned and rushed in the opposite direction, shouting to him, "My investigation mission and your special training end here. We have to return to Minchao City." Truong Bin looked at her hurried figure, full of curiosity. "Did something happen?" Lu Tutu quickly replied, "Team leader Kim Ba was seriously injured by Tien Thuong Ho. I must return to the city to provide support immediately." Truong Bin was stunned. "Wait, why don't we ask the investigation team outside the city or support from other cities?" Lu Tutu explained urgently, "That would alert the snake and stir up trouble. The world outside the city is very complicated." "I will explain to you on the way." The two hurried back to the city. On the way, they talked about the suburban situation. Since when did mutated beasts run rampant everywhere for survival? Humans had to build strong city walls to protect themselves. With traffic blocked inside the city, they relied only on the investigation team and awakened ones. To expand the map according to intelligence from the investigation team, areas with villages and wild men near Minchao City had fewer mutated beasts but were far away across the sea. Because the sea was full of top-level mutated beasts, they could not yet infiltrate to investigate. Whether other fortresses existed or what was hidden beyond the ocean, the two entered the city gate. Lu Tutu asked urgently, "What is the current situation inside the city?" A member of Kim Ba's team reported, "In recent days, we have completely controlled the situation in Minchao City using the illusion light heaven veil. No abnormalities of Tien Thuong Ho have been detected." Until last night, he sighed heavily and continued. The Craftsman Street even had a middle-level celestial organization sneaking out. "We came to confront them, but unexpectedly it was a trap, and the enemy leader was also there. Team leader Kim Ba-vi protected us during the retreat and was seriously injured. Now the captain's intention is, you need to temporarily take over the position of team leader Kim Ba and lead the protection team safely to Minchao City." Lu Tutu nodded firmly, "I understand." After finishing the meal, Truong Bin immediately asked Han if he needed any help. Lu Tutu looked at him resolutely. "No need. You should return to Thiet Chi. Honorable. If I have time, I will come to find you." Truong Bin obeyed immediately and hurriedly watched Lu Tutu and Team Kim Ba leave. He could only silently pray that both Kim Ba and Sister Tutu were safe and sound. Truong Bin yawned deeply, stretched his body and limbs, feeling relieved, and thought to himself. Finally, he could rest for a few days. After struggling in the wilderness, he was truly exhausted. He leisurely walked on the street, the sounds of people bargaining by the roadside echoed back. "I want this one." Truong Bin glanced briefly and muttered to himself, wondering how Vuong Kuyetman was doing with beast training and power. Then the autumn leaves rustled and fell all around him. Truong Bin suddenly noticed something strange, stopped, and looked back at the crowd of buyers and sellers who just passed by, seeing them frozen like stone statues. Strange indeed. He silently wondered why everyone suddenly became motionless like that. Suddenly, a strange man blocked his way. The man spoke in a brotherly tone. Truong Bin turned sharply, his voice echoing in the silent space. "Who are you?" He hurriedly whispered a command to his internal system to analyze. The system responded with multiple continuous tests. All failed until the 66th attempt, when the result partially revealed. Then the other person skillfully activated a camouflage talent, making him only able to extract a single clue about the human race. He was stunned for a brief moment. "What is this attribute?" The stranger spoke sarcastically. "Can't see it, huh? You want to examine my ability but still have to praise you a bit. Even awakened people with advanced appraisal skills can only use it less than 10 times a day. But you can use it unlimitedly." Truong Bin was confused inside. The forced appraisal command from himself naturally allows unlimited use, but wait, how does this guy know? He hesitated and cautiously asked, "Old man, what do you want with me?" His hand tightened on his weapon, ready to defend, while his mind continuously analyzed the opponent. This old monster looked ordinary, but emitted a bone-chilling aura. It made his scalp numb. The intruder clearly had bad intentions. The old man stood still and probed. "Play with me." The mysterious old man stood there, his words provocative and relentless, like falling rain. "Why haven't you acted yet?" Truong Bin maintained his defensive stance without rashness. "I have no reason to attack the old man." Suddenly, he smiled weirdly, his body surging with overwhelming power. "Getting stronger, do you still need a reason?" Then saying he would avenge to Tin Jiao was just empty talk. The words stabbed sharply into Truong Bin's heart and liver. He boiled with rage and dashed forward like a lightning bolt exploding. The old man repeated the provocation again. He swung his sword down, but the old man dodged in time, leaving a deep crack in the space where the blade swept. He was astonished, looking up at the shimmering time-space crack. Truong Bin spun around, ready to strike, his mind still analyzing the enemy's moves. "This is a time-space teleportation skill." The old man had slipped behind him. He concentrated his force and punched the old man, but the old man firmly blocked it with one arm like an indestructible wall. The old man commented disdainfully, "Your speed still needs improvement." Truong Bin replied calmly, making the old man momentarily stunned. Then suspiciously, he secretly hid his other hand behind his back, quietly gathering firepower. Then suddenly launched a fake fireball, a raging flame rushing straight at the target. Unexpectedly, the old man's body was transparent like smoke bones, causing his attack to dissipate uselessly. He muttered in his mind, everything seemed distorted. The illusory figure from afar gradually became clear. It was the old man returning. Turns out he was attacking relentlessly with his clone. "Now it's my turn." Truong Bin was briefly surprised. It was the old man's clone. The clone swung a sharp blade at him. He hurriedly dodged. This time it was the water element in countless forms. The icy blade rushed relentlessly, forcing him to turn and run desperately. Truong Bin looked back, cursing inwardly. "Damn it, how many more tricks is this old man hiding?" He forced the words out in a truly terrified tone. He really was a monster. Zhang Ping spun around sharply, breaking with his heel, condensing the remaining thin mist into a stream of dark purple-black air. Thick in the palm, the bone layer quickly transformed into a sturdy shield, blocking the old man's blade with a deafening clang. He charged straight at the old man, determined to take a reckless risk. This was the only move he could try. The old man's relentless strikes hit the shield, creating explosive sounds like thunder. He gradually narrowed his guard, a plan flashing in his mind: first attack to create an opening. Zhang Ping released mist towards the old man, then rushed forward and took advantage of the moment to ambush with a Nightwalker strike. The old man saw the move and smirked faintly. Smart indeed, but unfortunately the strength was still insufficient. Zhang Ping flinched as a blinding light burst into his face, forcing him to close one eye. The old man's whole body exploded. The brilliant light, like the sun, flung him far away. He slammed heavily onto the ground, his head hitting the pavement hard, the sharp pain making him groan softly. Zhang Ping tried to get up, but his body was completely paralyzed. Unable to move a muscle, the old man praised him a little. His tone mixed with admiration. "At your level, having such strength is considered rare." That is indeed rare. Zhang Ping lay still on the ground, full of resentment, yet his mental power was cunning beyond measure. The old man disdainfully turned his back and began to speak to him. Only then did Zhang Ping manage to move and slowly sit up. He stared intently at the person before him, silently calculating. The old man had put so much effort into thoroughly examining him. His strength was clearly superior. Among the three powerful figures in the city, only the leader of the cleaning team could compare to the two. They quickly entered a small roadside tavern. Sitting down to talk, Zhang Ping had already somewhat understood the opponent's strength, so he respectfully asked how he should address him. The old man sneered, his voice full of cunning. "The name is for others to call. Call me whatever you want." "You really don't know who I am?" Zhang Ping glanced around. It seemed the cleaning team had complete information about him. But what was the purpose of the old man's visit in this form? He cautiously asked, "Old Master Tuo, you came this time as Tuo." Calmly sipping tea, the old man replied. Then he reminded him with a calm demeanor, "To prevent others from reading your thoughts, it's best not to think too much." Zhang Ping was startled as the old man read his mind completely. An old master explained the reason for the visit. It has been 200 years. No infinite-level ability users have appeared in Mingzhou City. "Are you saying I can't come and see?" Zhang Ping was stunned, unable to believe it, and asked repeatedly, "What do you mean I'm infinite level? What is infinite level is an innate talent and human rank the highest level." The old master supplemented so he could understand clearly, even if a supernatural power is strong, a person can only awaken one in their lifetime, but infinite level is different. It can dissolve the limit on the number of innate talents and can continuously produce new awakened talents. Looking at him with curiosity, he said, "I'm very curious about this. I wonder if your infinite level innate talent Qi Dao can restore your infinite level innate talent contract gem." Zhang Ping and the old master sat down to discuss. The old man continued, "Of course I won't test it in vain. No matter the result, I will give you a gift. Also, I will answer all your questions." Old Master Zhang Ping didn't hesitate and immediately asked, "Then can I refuse?" The old master pushed a sparkling box toward him. "Of course you can, but why not look at my gift first?" Seeing him attracted by the item, the old man revealed, "This bracelet is called the Golden Treasure. It was equipment I often used in my youth. It stores a reserved skill. You surely understand what that means, right?" Zhang Ping's eyes lit up excitedly as he admired the treasure. "Old master, you are truly generous." He silently rejoiced. The spatial character item was something he had long desired. Seeing him nod in approval, the old man reached out his hands, glowing with gentle blue light. "Give me your hand." Zhang Ping extended his hand. The blue flame immediately wrapped around both. After a while, the old master closed his eyes, pondered deeply, then opened them and sighed, withdrawing his hand. Zhang Ping was embarrassed and also withdrew his hand cautiously, asking to be sure. "So it's over?" The old master nodded, confirming it was over. "Your power I cannot copy. Even the newly emerged innate talent failed to be copied. It seems you are very special." The old master kept his word, pushing the bracelet box toward him. "From now on, it's yours." Zhang Ping happily accepted it. "Thank you, old master." The moment his hand lightly touched the ring, a strange beam of light exploded, causing Truong Bin to momentarily freeze, unable to take his eyes off the window as the system flashed, signaling the completion of the appraisal along with a vivid memory segment. The image of a young girl tied tightly by her hands and feet, her body covered in blood, gradually appeared clearly. He whispered, "Could this be the process of creating this ring?" A man wearing a hood silently poured a bucket of sticky liquid over the unfortunate victim, causing her to scream heart-wrenching cries while the surrounding people chanted incantations non-stop. Truong Bin witnessed the scene, a surge of indescribable unease rising in his heart over these rare artifacts. It turned out they all had to be paid for with human lives. He carefully examined the exquisite ring born from such suffering, his heart slipping on the iron rail before the ruthless, inescapable cruelty. After watching the entire memory segment, Truong Bin raised his head, his eyes scrutinizing the old man Tudo Lao Tien Sin about the manufacturing process of all special equipment types. "Are they all that cruel?" 4 items to lift the teacup. Taking a sip, then slowly narrating 100 years ago, it was all like that. "Even though it is now banned, there are still criminals who sacrifice people in the shadows. I originally wanted to destroy this item. But if you can use it properly to punish evil and uphold justice, then the souls of this artifact can also rest in peace," Truong Bin said sorrowfully, asking Han about the distant past. What was Min Chao City like 200 years ago? Was human life considered as worthless as grass and weeds everywhere? The old Tu Do put the teacup down on the table, his voice deep and hoarse. Yes, he began to recount 200 years ago, the Chu family's beast tamers ruled Min Chao City. An image of the Chu ancestors appeared with a cunning expression. Cruel, he continued, all people in Min Chao City were slaves to the Chu family. They had no future, no hope. The scene of burly men bent over carrying heavy loads appeared clearly. Men laboring tirelessly day and night only to earn a bit of thin porridge to survive. A poor woman surrounded by men. About to fall into a disgusting depravity, some beautiful women were chosen as servants for the Chu family, becoming playthings for the decadent sons. The children were also indoctrinated with distorted ideas from a young age. All children were gathered in one place, brainwashed day and night to be loyal to the Chu family, while useless elderly people were slaughtered for animal feed and thrown to the Chu family's mutated beasts. At that time, anyone who awakened supernatural powers, if not controlled and tortured, would become living material for forging artifacts. Tudo recounted to this point, Long Lao was boiling with anger. Because the Chu family's beast tamers committed countless atrocities, talented heroes quietly gathered their strength. Finally, the alliance overthrew their tyranny. Truong Bin saw the old man finish his tea and stood up to pour more, realizing that was the whole story. Tudo looked at him, his tone gentle. Any more questions? Truong Bin did not hesitate to ask further, his worries pressing. Tudo Lao Tien Sin, you are so formidable. Why didn't you take action to resolve the Moon Prince and liberate the city once and for all? Tudo shook his head and explained clearly, it's not that we didn't act, but that we couldn't. You might misunderstand that Min Chao City's defenses are weak even unaware of the infiltration by Tien Thuong Ho, but that's wrong. In fact, the city's defense system is quite tight. Images of an investigative team with countless members appeared. The old man analyzed deeply. Outside, there is a team investigating tracking and chasing mutated beasts. Near the city gate, a cleaning team handles the beasts sneaking in the shadows. Inside the city, there is also the royal divine artifact, the Sun and Moon Min Chao, within its influence. All living beings are suppressed to level 40 or below. In other words, even if a royal mutated beast sneaks in, it only retains peak-level power. From the beginning, standing up and turning to leave, moreover, I am the strongest, no doubt. The old man hesitated, but at that moment Truong Bin also stood up abruptly, hastily pressing Tudo Lao Tien Sin. Do you mean there is a traitor inside the city? Tudo nodded, slightly praising his quickness, then looked back with a thoughtful tone. After the city lord disappeared besides me, only remnants of the Chu family's beast tamers remain who know how to create divine artifacts. Truong Bin recalled the scene of mutated beasts tearing innocent people apart. Grinding his teeth in rage, the Chu family's beast tamers sealed the Sun and Moon Min Chao and released Tien Thuong Ho into the city. Recently mutated beasts have gathered and rioted. They were also pulling the strings. Why didn't you just wipe them all out then? The tutor sighed deeply after overthrowing the dominance of the Chu family. We have always tried to keep the remnants of the Chu family clean, but how can weeds ever be completely cleared away? I fear it is because they have existed in Min Chao City for hundreds of years. Their roots underground are unfathomably deep. Truong Bin clenched his fists tightly, his body trembling slightly as countless questions rushed chaotically through his mind. Indeed, this infiltration by Tien Thuong Ho was full of suspicious gaps. What exactly is the Chu family's beast scheme? Is the city lord still alive or dead? What caused the mutated beasts to rise up? How does the royal Tien Thuong Ho wield their special powers? Truong Bin watched the tutor's figure gradually disappear and tried to explain the newly arisen doubts himself. These questions remain unanswered. The tutor, Toi Bok, must act cautiously in every detail. Otherwise, if he falls into the enemy's trap once fierce fighting breaks out in Min Chao City, it may be beyond saving, just like the previous war where nuclear weapons were only a terror. It is not yet time for life and death battles to begin. Even though the Moon Prince continuously provokes and slaughters, everyone can get angry, but the tutor, Toi Bok, cannot. Then the tutor spoke sincerely. Although I cannot replicate your abilities, we need you. He turned and stepped closer, extending his hand to invite a handshake. Brother Truong Bin, do you agree to join the cleanup team? The tutor silently awaited his consent. Truong Bin did not hesitate and immediately grasped the old man's hand. His eyes flashed with a determined fire as he shouted, I agree at Loren Thiet Chi Hon. The sound of hammering weapons echoed in the night along with whispered conversations. Vuong Kuyet Man curiously asked Kusak Sis, why are you suddenly repairing equipment? Kusak responded while working. I had some free time these past few days, so I did a bit. Vuong Kuyet Man watched her work and her mind wandered. Several days had passed. I wonder when Truong Bin will return. Kusak heard her worry about him. She stopped working and teased, "What's wrong missing him already? No wonder you've seemed distracted these past few days." Vuong Kuyetman blushed deeply and stammered, "It's just that these days no one is here to practice martial arts with me." Vuong Kuyetman's face flushed even more. She lowered her head and looked away, whispering, "I don't even know how he's doing outside the city. Is he facing any danger?" Koo-sak smiled mischievously from behind her and continued teasing, "Do you think you look like a little bride? You said you didn't miss him." Vuong Kuyetman covered her ears to block out the teasing. "I don't want to hear it anymore," she mumbled, denying it. "I don't," Koo-sak joked, then took a knife and approached the water basin. All right, I won't tease you anymore." She carefully soaked the knife in the basin to cool it down and said, "Actually, the villages outside the city and areas without dangerous mutated beasts have already been marked. As long as Truong Bin doesn't rush into those places, he should basically be safe." Vuong Kuyetman was curious about the villages outside Minchao City. Koo-sak wiped the sweat from her forehead and smiled gently at her. Of course, those villages often close their gates, are backward and xenophobic, and there are even many mutated beasts, demon spirits, and images of victims, burned alive in blazing fire, surrounded by crazed worshippers kneeling and praying. Koo-sak warned, "If you ever go to the wilderness and encounter a village, it's best to avoid it directly and keep moving. Otherwise, if they catch you, you might very well have become a slave or a sacrifice." Vuong Kuyetman asked naively, "Everyone there is human, so we should be able to interact, right?" Koo-sak smiled wickedly. Her expression suddenly hardened and her voice became serious. "Basically, they are not considered human. In the wilderness, the most dangerous are not the mutated beasts, but the wild men." Vuong Kuyetman felt a sudden chill. A vague fear arose in her heart when suddenly behind her appeared a strange cluster of black bones. She was still clueless about this as they continued to intimidate Vuong Kuyetman with fierce expressions. They usually wear grotesque masks and silently appear behind their victims. The shadows bared fangs and claws, slowly stalking closer to the two girls. Vuong Kuyetman trembled and looked back. Then she stammered, "Sak, is this what you meant?" Koo-sak turned around, unaware of the lurking danger, and calmly replied, "Yes, something like that." Only when the dark shadow rushed forward, revealing a terrifying face, did Koo-sak panic and widen her eyes. Through the mist, it was Truong Bin, the young man, raising both arms, pretending to scare the two girls. Vuong Kuyetman was so scared that tears welled up in her eyes as she screamed, but Koo-sak didn't even bother to run away. Instead, she swung a kick straight at the lower body of the guy Truong Bin, who groaned in pain as the aching sensation spread throughout his body so intense he nearly fainted. A few minutes passed. Truong Bin's pain slightly eased, but sweat still poured down like rain due to lingering aftershocks. He tried to calm himself, pretending nothing was wrong. Truong Bin stammered, "Sak, this move of yours is too fierce, right?" Koo-sak stepped back to shield Vuong Kuyetman, her voice high-pitched and cautious. "Who are you?" Truong Bin trembled, clutching his lower body tightly. Then he tore off the mask, forcing a strained smile. "It's me, Truong Bin." Vuong Kuyetman and Koo-sak nearly lost their souls, but finally breathed a sigh of relief. Koo-sak stepped forward and greeted Truong Bin with a strong slap on the back of his neck. "This kid came back without warning and played a spooky trick to scare us girls." Truong Bin rubbed his head and smiled awkwardly, his scarred mouth crooked. "Sis, didn't I just set foot here? I heard you two were talking about the Wild Man Village, right?" Wanting to add some drama to the atmosphere, she suddenly spun around and gave him a kick as a greeting. Koo-sak then returned to her coat, prepared to put it on and leave. "Yes, this counts as finishing the training." Truong Bin nodded repeatedly. "Yes, next I will stay in the city to further strengthen myself." Koo-sak was satisfied and quickly put on the perfectly fitting coat. Just then, she suddenly remembered something. Today, she had just found a clue related to San. Before leaving, she turned back to remind her sister, who was also preparing to go out to the city. "Chulu is counting on you, okay?" Truong Bin hurriedly asked. "Are you leaving in such a hurry?" Koo-sak waved goodbye and disappeared, teasing Vuong Kuyetman. "Who else could it be but someone like you? Day after day, like a restless ghost waiting for me. I won't bother you anymore." Truong Bin was dazed, not understanding the twists and turns, while Vuong Kuyetman blushed deeply. Seeing Koo-sak leave, she also awkwardly hurried to the door. "It's no longer early. I will return to my room to rest now." At the door, she hesitated for a moment. Vuong Kuyetman softly called out, "Truong Bin." "Curious," he responded. Vuong Kuyetman smiled gently at him. "It's good that you returned safely." Truong Bin felt warmth spread through him, smiled back, and waved goodbye to her. Long silently thought, having wandered in this world for so long, this was the first time he truly felt like coming home. Suddenly, Lu Tietfong appeared out of nowhere. Startled, he jumped up. The old man glared at him sternly. People have already gone back to their rooms. You're still standing there grinning foolishly early tomorrow morning. I need you to find Ku Sak and tell her that I am seriously ill and to stop going out to the city, Lu Tietfong requested. Truong Bin worriedly looked at Uncle Lu. Uncle Lu Tietfong tapped his pipe hard on his head. Don't look at me like that. I'm not stupid nor sick, I'm just pretending. Truong Bin rubbed his head painfully. Then, Uncle, please explain. San has been missing for so long. Mostly something unfortunate happened. Lu Tietfong sat down heavily. I know my daughter's strength best. Tiu Sak wants to investigate San. But I'm worried she will be in danger, so I can only pretend so she won't have time to take risks. Truong Bin understood and lowered his voice, Uncle Lu. After finishing his cigarette, Lu Tietfong continued. That girl is loyal and caring. Once she has worries in her heart, she will think a lot and won't easily accept risks. Truong Bin forced a smile. Uncle Lu, you have worked hard. The old man slammed his pipe to flick the ash away. You have great talent in forging, but Tiu Sak doesn't know who to learn from. She doesn't pay much attention to forging. So there are quite a few mistakes. In the next few days, I will teach you the true Hua Dian Duan Tao Thuat. Lu Tietfong pointed his pipe at him. Yes. Although our technique is not considered top secret, it is still the exclusive skill of the Lu family. You must learn with heart and sincerity for me. Truong Bin clenched his fists, his face full of determination. Yes, I will definitely not disappoint your expectations, Uncle Lu. A mystical blue smoke appeared, and the voice of a girl echoed faintly in his mind. Truong Bin, I am to Tin Jiao. Smile and cheer up. I am rooting for you. I am waiting for you. He looked at her and softly called out, To Tin Jiao. Truong Bin watched as the smoke gradually faded, leaving behind a shimmering blue feather on the floor. According to Truong Bin's account afterward, Ku Sak followed Lu Tietfong's instructions and did not go out to the city. Lu Tietfong also secretly taught him the Hoa Dien Don Tao Tuat. Liu Shifeng sat leisurely smoking while judging. I sensed the sharp risk of lung cancer. Hearing this, Cao said, then don't smoke anymore. Zhang Ping also came up with a way to control the fog. He used a segment of creation technique applied to the fog, making the fog form a more precise shape in some aspect. It can also be considered as becoming stronger during the training period with Wang Kui Min. He carefully observed and drew conclusions about Wang Kui Min. He successfully mastered the first 3 moves of the royal power, Zhang Ping recalled that night. He confirmed that he had heard the voice of Suo Jingjiao, but the feeling was like he had met it somewhere before, so that night he asked the cleaning team to find evidence. Zhang Ping said into the radio, Captain, is there a disguised Tianchang Lake near the forge? I just heard very clearly Tu Do announcing in a firm voice, Zhang Ping, we have already cleared the area where you guys live. There can't be a Tianchang Lake. Zhang Ping thought differently. If it's not Feng Yu Jia who can be heard, then what is it? He tried to consider another possibility. Could Suo Jingjiao still be alive? But living in another way. Because of the report, to find the answer, he had to personally remove the mask of Tianchang Lake Suo Jingjiao. About 3 days later at the Suo family's house, a stranger was sneaking inside silently. He used a stick to break the door. The entrance quickly opened inside. The bedroom was a girl who knew nothing. Still sleeping soundly on the bed, the perverted stranger greedily approached the girl who was sleeping like the dead. Looks like today I successfully quit smoking. He grabbed her blanket and pulled it aside to reveal her fair skin. A stranger smiled wickedly, having heard for a long time that Miss Suo's family was refined with smooth skin. Her beautiful face, he used his dirty hand to lightly stroke her skin. Today I will taste her fresh to see if it's really as everyone says. At that moment, a black fog gradually entered the room with a terrifying voice. Zheng Xiaofan! The stranger was startled and immediately turned around shouting loudly. The person in the fog continuously revealed his information. Zheng Xiaofan, nickname, short-legged fall, height, 1.5 meters, vulgar and despicable appearance. Seeing himself being completely exposed made him panic, and he could only shout, Who is there? Who's there? A shadow gradually appeared clearly right behind him. Not favored by girls, twisted and perverted in mind, in recent years he had killed countless girls. I'm telling the truth, right? Zheng Xiaofan angrily shouted, Who the hell are you? Zhang Ping said, I was ordered here to take your life. Zheng Xiaofan's face instantly turned pale. He panicked and turned to run for his life. Long was confused and muttered to himself clearly the entire Suo family had been drugged and knocked out by him already. He recklessly dashed away, but the thick fog still clung to him, chasing relentlessly, making him wonder what kind of freak this was, human or ghost. Suddenly, a bone contracted and turned into a sharp needle stabbing into his calf. Zhang Xiaofan staggered, lost balance, and fell face down on the ground. Zhang Ping calmly stepped closer. His cold voice sounded, "Still want to struggle?" Zhang Xiaofan tightly pressed the wound to stop the heavy bleeding. He was so scared he wet his pants, stammering, Don't come here!" His whole body trembled. His terrified eyes stared at Zhang Ping as if he had just met a demon. Finally, Zhang Xiaofan collapsed unconscious. Zhang Ping stepped forward and lightly kicked his leg, thinking to himself, "I thought this serial killer was brutal and fierce, but he collapsed so easily." He thought to himself, "So the first mission after joining the team is basically done." Zhang Ping bent down and removed his mask. After finishing, he would have to take this guy to the superiors for handling right. The forensic system immediately responded promptly, "Order received, successful forensic analysis." Detailed information about Zhang Xiaofan instantly appeared from name to techniques. Zhang Ping skimmed through with a bored expression, proficient in analyzing medicinal materials, checking whether the items had healing properties or not, and using them to concoct medicine, a common quality Daohua mask that Zhang Xiaofan wore while doing evil. His awakened ability was so good. Yet he degenerated into a villain, truly an incurable degenerate. The system automatically replayed the scene, flashing quickly, a mother crawling on the cold ground. Tears streaming, begging desperately, "Please, please release my daughter." Zhang Xiaofan disdainfully kicked her. Causing her pain and groaning, he stood beside her, his mouth continuously spewing insults. "You took my medicine, but still aren't honest like this. If you want to blame someone, blame your husband. If he hadn't left earlier, I wouldn't be looking at you two, mother and child, a privileged officer in the patrol team. All day long you swear to protect Min Chao City with your life. Isn't this real death now?" Ridiculous, Tang Tu Pham sneered, but he had to thank him for leaving you two, mother and child, to me. The child on the bed screamed in agony. He grabbed the girl's neck and stuck out his tongue to lick her, making the girl scream in fear. He reassured her, "Don't rush, wait for me to finish playing, then I'll send you to meet him." Tang Tu Pham laughed wickedly. "You are all my toys." Behind him were countless souls of unfortunate women endlessly crying out in pain. When Truong Bin saw this, his face darkened and his body stiffened for a moment. Just then, Tang Tu Pham woke up, saw him distracted, and sneaked to act. He sprayed sleeping powder straight into his face and laughed loudly in triumph. Tang Tu Pham arrogantly showed off, "Where did this little brat come from to ruin my good plan?" That medicine was enough to take down a large, mutated beast. "Wait until you sleep, then I'll torture you properly." Truong Bin was completely unharmed, clenching his fists tightly. He glared at him with fury. "You despicable bastard!" Seeing Truong Bin still alert, Tang Tu Pham panicked. Why isn't it working?" he hurriedly thought. Could it be because of the rain? Before he could react, Truong Bin swung his move, chopping off his hand amid the roaring thunder and Tang Tu Pham's agonizing screams. He clutched his severed arm, trembling and crying non-stop. Truong Bin remained unshaken and continued to cast his spell. This blade is for the mothers who sacrificed their lives. To protect their daughters, his whole body exploded with dense purple energy. 3 small blades flashed in his hands. "This blade is for the girls who would rather die." Refusing to yield, Truong Bin said, and launched thousands of sharp daggers, slicing through the air, forcing Tang Tu Pham to helplessly scream as his body was riddled with fatal wounds. The screams echoed repeatedly, but he did not hold back and continued to press the attack with the blade. It was in memory of that hero of the patrol team. He kept slashing continuously in the heavy rain. "This blade is in remembrance of that righteous scout." Thunder rumbled loudly, but Truong Bin did not stop. "This blade is to honor that unknown awakener." After a long time, Tang Tu Pham's body was severely damaged. Both legs were cut off and unable to move, one arm heavily injured and difficult to recover. He cried and cursed incessantly. "You crazy bastard, you are insane!" Truong Bin stood amid the swirling mist. With current techniques, if treated promptly, he could still be saved. "I give you one chance." Truong Bin pointed toward the gate. "Just step out of that big door. I will spare your life." Truong Bin had not completely forgiven him yet, but thought Tang Tu Pham brought despair to those people. "I will repay you 100-fold. Truong Bin pointed to the door and warned Tang Tu Pham, "Remember, this is your last chance." Tang Tu Pham heard this and still saw a way to live. He smirked, seemingly unrepentant, full of vitality, crawling toward the door with one hand while constantly scheming in his mind. "Wait until I recover. I will make you pay. I will chop you into 100 pieces." Coughing, he thought of the women he had tormented. Then he laughed perversely, silently cheering himself on. "I can't die here." There are still many beautiful girls in this world that I haven't played with enough. Tang Tupham was almost at the door, just a little more. He smiled brightly, reaching to push the door open, just needing to open this door, just leave here. His hand trembled, unable to reach the handle, helplessly thinking, clearly, just a little more. Tang Tupham lost patience and repeatedly slammed the door, mouth cursing nonstop. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Truong Bin gradually approached the door. You will never open it in this lifetime. He condensed the mist into a sphere in his hand, then looked at him disappointedly. I gave you a chance, but you didn't value it. Tang Tupham, you have failed. Tang Tupham shouted loudly, no. Truong Bin attacked to take the opponent's life in an instant. The system debris appeared with a notification. For killing a higher-level opponent, all attributes increased by 1. Truong Bin silently stood in the rain, not very happy. His eyes were full of sadness as he thought back, originally believing killing Tien Thuong Ho would make Min Chao City peaceful again. Save everyone, Truong Bin looked up at the sky. But does a person like this really deserve to be saved? Save what scum who deserve to die? No need to show sincerity. Suddenly a voice rang out from somewhere. Are you sure today at Han Hai Academy is a special day? Find an opportunity to take it away. The voice quickly disappeared. Truong Bin looked around confused. What, another Tang Tupham? He pulled the communicator from his sleeve. Truong Bin reported the situation. Captain, the rapist's task has been completed. Also, I overheard through Feng Yu Jia that near Han Hai Academy it seems they want to take something away. At the headquarters, Tudo was cleaning the strange equipment and asked again. Han Hai Academy Manini was using her magic to probe. After a while, she frowned and said no. Cannot sense the situation there. Someone set up a barrier, even I cannot probe it. Then it seems it's not an ordinary person. Tudo said again into the communicator, Truong Bin, you go there first and report the actual situation. I will immediately contact Lu Tu Thien. Tudo reminded him not to act hastily until reinforcements arrive. Truong Bin received the order and rushed off immediately. Yes. Around Han Hai Academy, it was already surrounded by dense barriers. 3 intruders were carefully moving deeper inside. Their leader sighed. Damn it, we've been searching for 15 minutes already. Where on earth did Tran Hoc Lich hide? The small guy sensed something and warned the leader, not good. Someone entered the barrier. The fat guy panicked. What could it be? Our actions have been discovered. The leader said loudly, Nonsense, there's the Tran Longstone and the double lantern heavy protection here. No one can detect us. The leader pondered, his thick eyebrows full of caution. If that's the case, the man stepped into the barrier. If we disturb Tran Hoc Lich, it will be troublesome. Even if we hide our aura, we can't send someone in front of him. Suddenly, he shouted at his comrades in a commanding voice. Hurry up, time is running out. No matter what, we must find her. Yes, 2 henchmen responded simultaneously, their voices echoing. Outside, Truong Bin quietly observed the entire area. His eyes swept over a dragon-shaped object winding around a pillar. What is this? The appraisal system announced appraisal failed. Then he persistently tried again a second time, then a third time, and finally succeeded. The information board flashed clearly, Tran Longstone grade quality Shu Thi 4. 4 Tran Longstones placed in corresponding positions can form the Tran Long Fa Dao barrier, strong enough to cover and tear apart almost all other layers of barriers. He softly exclaimed, So this is a grade Shu Thi treasure. The system automatically replayed images of scenes. The process of crafting the item appeared vividly. To complete it, countless innocent lives had to be sacrificed. Their blood, soaked with hatred, was forged and refined through red fire. Transformed into a perfect masterpiece as it is now, Truong Bin's eyes widened in slight amazement surging. Tran Longstone was born from human sacrifice rituals, but this has been banned from use among the public for many years. Truong Bin squinted, looking through the main door inside Long Tam, guessing that those guys were not henchmen of the 2 other forces. Could they be remnants of the Chu family, he murmured in his mind. The Chu family's beast tamers were behind everything. Immediately, a timeline event appeared vividly in his mind. 200 years ago, the Chu family ruled Min Chao City with countless crimes, then was overthrown by 3 organizations. 2 months ago, the Sun and Moon Min Chao lockdown caused the new city lord to disappear. The Heavenly Tiger infiltrated the fortress half a month ago, gathering mutated beasts outside the suburbs and now coming to Han Hai Academy to take something away. He sneaked right in front of the lower gate, determined to enter stealthily while his mind kept speculating that the Chu family was luring the Heavenly Tiger to gather mutated beasts outside the city. What was their ultimate goal? Maybe through this action he could trace a key clue. From Truong Bin's position, he suddenly noticed someone sneaking up. He thought silently, it seems something is about to slip out, must hide quickly. The system alerted activation of the Nightwalker effect. Then Truong Bin dashed into the house and closed the door just in time, from the other's perspective. The leader stepped out first, then carefully scanned everywhere. After a long inspection, without finding any trace, he thought to himself that the one who sneaked into the barrier seemed to have left already. He reassured and turned to whisper to his accomplices, "It should be fine now, turn it off and post it." Saving the last bit of energy for self-defense in an emergency, all three finished their tasks and hurriedly retreated. The leader spoke, "I'm going to collect the Longstone again, we can't leave any traces." Truong Bin slightly opened the door to observe and simultaneously ordered the inspection system. At that moment, he quickly updated intelligence via communication device. As predicted, the enemy was the Chu family faction. One possessed skills at level 21, another had telekinetic ability at level 17, and the last had hypnosis ability at level 15. The other end confirmed receipt. At the same time, the system signaled successful inspection. The posting could camouflage its aura completely with its owner. Truong Bin suddenly realized why it was not detected earlier. It was because that item concealed its breath. It seemed its energy was about to run out. He glanced at the girl behind. Her attribute board showed she was Tran Quan Din. Truong Bin pondered, was that girl their kidnapping target? The maturity value was unbelievably high, let alone her abilities. She was simply an evolved version of the Covenant Gem, named Tran Quan Din, race human, faction Han Hai Thean School. Maturity value 14 stars. Class awakened human, intermediate level 13. Talent, Holy Mother's bloodline. The blood in her body could enhance affinity with living creatures and influence all wild beasts and strangers. Becoming a fanatic follower after ability upgrade, it could become a passive skill and expand usage range. Note, those who drink holy blood cannot use supernatural powers. Meanwhile, continuously encountering bad luck, Truong Bin frowned deeply. What did the Chu family intend to control using her? Anyway, this girl was completely innocent. He silently made a firm decision not to let the Chu family succeed. Thunder rumbled loudly. The three Chu family members suddenly vanished in the blink of an eye. The system warned of inspection interruption. Truong Bin panicked, rushed outside, looked around in confusion, and ran. Where did they go? Can you track them? At the cleanup team's base, Manny was using his power to search and had already sensed them. But those people were heading toward the outskirts. At their current speed, Tutu probably couldn't catch up. Truong Bin whispered through the radio, "I'll go block them." Tu Dao hurriedly stopped him. "Wait, Truong Bin, don't be impulsive. You must ensure your own safety first." He persuaded the Chu family elder is the mastermind behind all crimes. "We absolutely cannot let them escape, even if I can't fight them. But I can use fog to slow them down and buy time for Sister Tutu." The three Chu family members sped toward the outskirts at maximum velocity. The leader suddenly noticed strange movement in the bushes ahead. He paused to investigate. Suddenly, a mutated fog beast burst out from the bushes. The leader's eyes widened in surprise. A mutated fog beast. How did it sneak into the city silently? Inside that beast was Truong Bin in disguise. He whispered to himself, "Luckily, thanks to the Harmony Face segment technique. The fog transformation is okay for now, but I must be cautious. Don't let that level 2 inspection sorcerer see through it." The leader cast inspection. "This wolf looks fierce and formidable. What's its rank?" Without hesitation, he unleashed numerous sharp spikes like a porcupine, cutting off the inspection process. The leader growled angrily, "Damn, interrupted again." Truong Bin gathered strength, leapt forward, and attacked the leader. He controlled the beast, baring its fierce fangs, ready to tear him apart. The leader, not an amateur, swiftly dodged and turned to shout at his comrades. "Huang Tam, hypnotize it quickly!" Huang Tam obeyed, immediately activating his ability. His eyes rolled back as he ordered the beast to stop. The beast's pupils dilated wildly. Truong Bin paused his attack. Huang Tam sighed in relief. Good, it's working. Inside, Truong Bin remained unshaken. He quickly devised a new plan. His spiritual power was infinite, making him immune to all forms of mental control. He could exploit this advantage. He silently calculated, pretending to be hypnotized to shorten the distance. Huang Tam was unaware and kept approaching, mumbling, "Don't move, don't move." Huang Tam reached out to pet the beast to create familiarity, speaking evenly, "Don't move, wait." When Huang Tam got close enough, Truong Bin suddenly exploded with a fierce attack. "Now's the time." Huang Tam jerked back and dodged hastily. Why did it move? The beast opened its sharp jaws wide and snapped at Huang Tam, biting and tearing, causing him to scream in pain. Huang Tam panicked and cried for help. "Boss, help me!" The leader shouted loudly, "Huang Tam!" A small, angry guy rushed in, using his strength. "Get lost so I can use telekinesis." pushing Truong Bin away from Huang Tam. Truong Bin landed safely. The system flashed, reporting a rank upgrade to 9. All attributes increased by 1 point thanks to killing a higher-level opponent, but all attributes increased by 1. Truong Bin silently succeeded. Now just need to block the other 2. The small guy continued to use supergravity telekinesis. The fog inside was immediately compressed tightly, making him momentarily stunned. An invisible pressure crushed Truong Bin, causing the ground and surrounding rocks to crumble deeply. Truong Bin was terrified, unable to get up, silently lamenting that he was done for, unable to move anymore. At this moment, the leader dared to successfully identify Truong Bin. He skimmed through his information name. Truong Bin, rank 9 primary awakening belonging to the Iron Soul Forge and the cleaning team. Unknown ability. The leader sneered maliciously. Turns out he was just a human and a rank 9 rookie at that, yet dared to play the hero, the leader declared coldly. If you are already a person of Tudo Thoibok, then I can't spare your life anymore. Truong Bin briefly recalled in his mind this supergravity move. Last time Tudo Thoibok also used it on me. Stay calm. Surely we'll find a way out.